been like up all day. My sleeping pattern is like probably like yours, Dad. But we've probably got the closest sleeping pattern I've ever had right now. I hate it. It's painful.
I love that. Like, tell the people why are you up though, Reese? Because it's not football related. Even the live games don't get you up usually. So like, what's what's waking you up? What's driving you at the moment?
It's so funny. I was like, my sleeping pattern last week was an absolute mess. I was like, I kept waking up and then sleeping for 5-hour increments. Like I'd do it like twice in a day. It'd be so random. I missed the Arsenal Man City game. Can't lie. I missed all of the games before it. I only watched the highlights to the Liverpool games and the other games like this morning because I was like, oh yeah, I haven't seen the highlights of what happened because I was so annoyed with football after Sunday and looking at our result. And then I watched our game back on Monday. And then I was just like, oh, whatever. So then I was just so annoyed all week. So I just didn't bother. So I've been just doing gaming stuff a lot of gaming stuff. Honestly, I've probably put like 40 hours into my gaming channel just this week alone.
That's nuts.
And I've still made 3-4 main channel videos and made shorts every day. I made 2 shorts on one day. So
how are you fitting that in?
Nah, just not having a life. That's just 15 hours a day. YouTube, and then you get so like if I want to play a video game, it's like, oh yeah, but like I need to make it a video, so that's like I just can't rest. But
mate, you're just gonna be one of those people that just vlogs everything. That's where your life is heading, like vlogging, making videos.
I can't imagine like I said this to my friends though, but I was like, every time I like something, I have this like undeniable need to make videos on it. Like I was watching WrestleMania last weekend and I was just like, oh, should I just start making wrestling videos again? Like I used to make wrestling videos. But then I was like, actually, I need to be invested in it. I'm not invested in the weekly shows like I used to be. Like I don't think the product's very good at the moment. So I was like, I was calling everything WrestleMania, but then I was like, nah, I can't do this. And it's the same with F1. There's a break on F1. Like I would be doing F1 content, but there's no races for the last month. So
well, yeah, that's true. Hey, Alex, hope you're well, mate. Tidy on a Friday. Yes. And I have, do you know what? Tonight, is it promoting alcohol? I don't know. I am having a pineapple rattler. Do you guys get rattler where you live?
I've never heard of that.
You never heard of it? So,
no, I've not read that. No.
This is like if you go to the Champagne region and you're like, okay, I need the best. If you go to Cornwall, you need the best cider. It's Rattler all day. Like, what percentage is this? It's quite strong. It is. Oh no, this one's not too bad because it's a pineapple cider. This one, so it's 3.4%. So it's not too bad. But yeah, they. I went to school with the Healy boys. It's from Healy. Do you call it is it orchard? I don't know. What would you call it? They're making cider.
Yeah.
Because I want to say a brewery, but it's not.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's Healy's farm. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So went to school with them. But yeah, I'm on a pineapple cider tonight, and it is probably too nice to be drinking just willy-nilly, if you know what I mean. Just goes down too easy. But going back to the videos, mate, I have like massive admiration for you because I'll put out my first tactics video because it was less about putting out a video for the people. It was more about proving to myself that I actually do know the game, if that makes sense. Because it was like, if I put this out and then I have like people like you, Alex and George and Rohan, that obviously I work quite closely with. I know James B from the Gooniverse watched it. So there's been quite a few people. And I thought, everyone's going to give me pelters if it's really bad. And I thought, so I've just got to do it. I've got to put it out and just see what happens. So, yeah, massive admiration for you, though, because it is horrific sitting watching Manchester City on double speed to try to find a place where I could quickly pause it and go, oh, yeah. There we go. That's where they've actually got into like almost like a back five and they're playing around the press. It's like, oh my God. Yeah. And if you click it as well, nothing, you know, like when you want to like scroll back just a little bit.
Yeah.
And it goes back about like 3 minutes. You're like, oh God, I've got to watch City,
Some of
like,
the players are
oh
awful.
God, yeah,
As someone who has been on every single player in the Premier League, I was on Burnley's this morning trying to get a picture for Elliot Anderson against Burnley last week. That was long. Like it is so like I don't know, so annoying to deal with all this. For me, I just have like for some reason when I watch a game, I have like a photographic memory of like 3 key moments that happen in every game I watch, and I just remember that moment. Like it will be moments from months and years ago, and I'll be like, I remember that. I remember that specific moment. It'd be like such an irrelevant moment that no one else cares about. Like, oh, I remember when Ødegaard moved out of the way here so we could get a shot in the box in the 65th minute. And it's like I don't know how I do it. And then I'll like bring that up all the time, like, and just that one like little bit, like I was talking to Short the other day about our box midfield, which if anyone was like an early person on my channel, I used to go on about this box midfield for about 50 videos. I love the box midfield. 23-24 Arsenal was the most fun I ever had making content. It was the most fun I ever had watching Arsenal. I didn't make content in 22-23, so obviously like that level to it as well. But it was genuinely a fun time. We played that Newcastle game because I rewatched the Newcastle game where we beat them 4-1 the other day. That was one of my favourite Arsenal games. That first half, we are all over them. The press, the passing. I was watching that and I was going, oh, I wish we could see that tomorrow. But I don't know.
Oh, it's depressing. Do you think though you remember those key like moments and stuff because you're looking so in depth, or are you that kind of like photographic memory where you'll just remember those kind of moments regardless anyway?
I think like sometimes I would remember, but I always like talk about like my like how I looked at football before I did YouTube, and then after I did YouTube is so different. Like it's even night and day.
Yeah.
I used to be like when I was in uni, I used to be a big trivia guy. Like I know all my football trivia. It would be something I'd be doing Sporacle tests all the time, and like, oh, let us get it. Nowadays, I was doing one the other day. I was like, my head's gone. Like my trivia at football is actually probably at its all-time lowest because I'm looking at like everything now and all these details tactically. And when you like with me, like obviously I've done so many tactics videos on Arsenal and such small little details so much that like everything is so enhanced to me. Like someone will not watch Arsenal as much and they'll say an opinion and then I'll know everything. And then it's like, well, yeah, but realistically, I think I probably watch Arsenal the most ever. I watch every game like 4 times. Like, that's just not
That's
normal.
nuts.
And like it's just not a normal amount to watch him. So it's like I forget that like I just watched this team way too much. And like every little detail is just so enhanced for me because it's just like in my head. It's so crazy.
Mate, I mean, yeah, you're watching especially this team too much as well because it's hard watching Arsenal at times. I will admit, even as an Arsenal fan, I do think it's gone a little bit overboard with how hard it is to watch because it's not like, you know, like certain teams will play in a low block and then try to play on the counter. I guess like there's a bit of a thrill to the counter at times and we don't even have the transition. So it just depends. But we have had some good wins this season. It's not like we, you know, Atleti that are coming up. We had a brilliant win against them last time. That was a cracking match. But I think it's because in the run-in, it's such a pressured situation and time, and everyone's on tenterhooks anyway. So even if we're playing really good, everyone will be like, "Oh God, like, but we do look like we're gonna, you know, we're just gonna drop off suddenly, or the defense looks more open now because we're playing so open." I think we're almost looking for problems at this moment in time, and because of that, it feels even worse because City are doing well. Like if City were just, I looked at the, you know, like. I looked at the goal difference and I went, there's hardly anything between us. And then I thought to myself in my head, and even though I know what the goal differences are in goals scored and goals against, I forgot how close they are in each other because I think it's 3 goals conceded is the difference. And I thought, how is City anywhere near us in goals conceded, considering the start of the season we had? And it's so weird, this like narrative, even as an Arsenal fan and someone who watches like the games all the time and talks about it, I'm still there. I'm still taking that narrative on. It's nuts, really. But I mean, do we go through that City game, seeing as I've just brought City up. Oh, I don't really
I mean, the
want to.
thing
But
is, like, I'm not like I think this week is like I think when people. I mean, personally, I look at things in a positive light because going into this week, I thought, oh, there's a situation where we don't look good. We're going to get thrashed. All this stuff's going to be bad. But like, but like, did anyone watch Man City this week and feel like they're unbeatable? I just watched them against Arsenal and Burnley, and I thought like, yeah, they were good. They won 2 games, but like nothing special. I don't think
yeah,
they played us off the park. I don't think they were. I arguably think Arsenal definitely should have got a result and could have arguably got a win. Like both teams had big chances. You know, they scored one more than we did. And people will be like, oh, they got better finishes. They also missed 3 big chances and we missed 4.
yeah,
Like, it is what it is. You know, games get dependent on margins. And whether we're good enough to finish their margins is another question. We've gone on about this loads. It is very much like the PSG things. There's journalists online talking about, and I will get into some of the players after it, talking about certain players, but same journalists were saying that Arsenal were actually the worst English team to play PSG last year, which is completely results analysis based because we actually were very good, especially away at PSG. That first half, we were fantastic. We just couldn't
yeah.
take our chances. It is what it is. And we know we have them problems because our attacking line is poo. We know that. But like, I genuinely looked in this game and I thought Man City just were all over the place at many moments. We got at them. And it's like when I've seen videos like how Man City exploited Arsenal again, and it's like, yeah, there was moments they did, but we also exploited them in moments. I don't really think it was like a
Yeah.
tactical masterclass. This was much more of an even game and a way that the Carabao Cup final should have been or was in the first half to an extent. And then it kind of went a bit to them because we just couldn't get control.
Bearing in mind, we're at the Etihad and we haven't won there in over a decade as well.
Yeah, and we're going in
so it's
and
not
we're
like
in one of the worst forms ever. Like we've lost like 4 of our last 6 games now. Like it's awful. We've been crap. Like, and that was by far one of our better performances. I mean, I know the reasons why it was one of our better performances. It's not hard to see, but like I just think. I don't know. I looked at that game and like I think going into the Burnley game as well, looking at Man City playing Burnley, the worry was that they were going to get quite a substantial lead in the goal difference race. But they won 1-0, scored in 5th minute. I was asleep for that game, didn't watch it, couldn't tell you what happened. I know Man City had a lot of chances,
yeah,
but
they did,
but like I look at that and I'm like, realistically, we've got 5 games of the Premier League season left. We are on the same points. We are on the same goal difference. It is a 5-game shootout. Anything can happen. I don't think Man City are the best team in the world. I don't think they're undeniable, nor we. We all know that. But there was enough I saw in that game against Man City to think I just had some sort of belief to be like, we can do it. There is still problems with the technical security, especially later on in the game. We can't pass the ball. But so we're going to have to kill games off early. We're going to have to be better at these certain chances. And I don't know, man. Like I get it is doom and gloom, but I'm kind of looking at this as an opportunity where it's not over. It's 5 games. This situation, to be in this situation, be a 5-game shootout is incredible. And we've also got a Champions League semi, which we will go on to against Atleti, where they've won 1 game in like 8. They can't win at all. They're awful. So
they're in horrendous form as well.
I don't know. Glass half full, but like I'm not too disheartened, I'd say, by this week.
No, that's good. Like, I mean, it was really weird. So, like for me, I was livid. I was absolutely livid previously. So the Bournemouth game, and after the City game, I mean, so I went to my son's football clubhouse to watch. So I was there with one of my close friends, Nick, and so it was a really quiet bar. There's hardly anyone in there as well. So it was a really odd atmosphere because I usually watch it at home. And I thought, no, well, we organised, we'll go because it's such a big game. And I was, when someone else kind of amps you up as well. And I think we were both kind of raising each other's nerves and stuff. And I was livid at the end of the game, I won't lie. And then I went through this weird period. I walked back home and I just suddenly like dipped right down to, season's over. Like really, really just down in the dumps, really depressed. And then maybe like the next day I was like, I mean, why am I that concerned about it? Because it's so funny. When I reflected back and I thought, I internalized it and thought to myself that I was absolutely hammering the team in my head of, oh, it's Groundhog Day. It's the same thing. How many times do we have to see Kai Havertz miss chances? How many times do we have to see the same players, the same mistakes? How many times do we have to go to the Etihad and then lose? How many times do we need to, like Arteta, to make a sub like Eze coming off? That really frustrated me. I think that was the breaking point for me and my anger. And then I thought about it and went, well, I'm kind of in the mentality, like loser mentality. And then I expect the players not to do that and not to bottle it, so to speak. Whereas in my head, I'm like going down that, that pit of doom, spiraling out of control, thinking, oh, it's the end of it. I think, well, hang on, if I can't even just sit down and watch a game without losing all my emotions like that, how can I expect professional athletes to do that? And they're the ones traveling to these grounds in like hostile territory and having to actually perform. Like, I've kind of middled out now where I'm like, I do think there needs to be big changes, and I'm going back and forth. I'm kind of flip-flopping between, in terms of, especially with the attack, is it the attack? Is it the personnel? Oh, but if we do get new players in, will I really see the best out of them? Because we've got Arteta, and is it the system that's letting them down? And then is the recruitment good enough? Because we've got Berta and we've brought these players in, but I'm not sold on Madueke. I'm not really sold on Kepa. I'm not sold on, these players. So I'm looking, going, I'm almost looking for that scapegoat, I guess, at this moment in time. And I can't put my finger on it. And it's just, that's probably the most frustrating thing. There's the same things, but I don't know who to blame. So I don't know. I think for me personally right now, I've just got to go into each game with just the hope that we can just play. Because the one thing we did see against City is a little bit more of Arsenal, because since Villa, we just haven't looked ourselves at all. We've looked a shell of ourselves.
I mean, against Everton and Leverkusen, we were pretty good in them games. Like they were pretty decent performances. We had over 23 shots in both of them games, which is much more what we needed. That's the thing. The thing is, I wasn't surprised by the result. Even on our podcast last week, I said if we lose by 1 goal, I'm not going to be too disheartened because we're still in this race. Like, we know that we've been slipping for a while now. We realistically, I was a bit just like. It was like when we lost to Villa away, I was just like, oh, like sort of thing, rather than being angry, because I was more angry when we dropped points to Wolves and Brentford and, and Bournemouth and like these games that we just weren't good enough in. Against City, we were quite frankly like as good as them, if anything, maybe even better, as some people could argue.
Yep.
And it just didn't happen on the day. And people will. You're so right with the whole like you don't know who to blame, because I made a video a couple of days after it and I said that is the thing. Everyone doesn't know who to blame. So we're seeing these crazy takes on Twitter. I've seen like all week. I've seen it now. Like, it's not just like people talk about like rival fans and how they think about Arsenal, but Arsenal fans have like a civil war every single week on Twitter. Like every single week.
That is so true. True.
I've felt it so much in the last 2 to 3 weeks where I've genuinely been fed up with so many people like in the Arsenal fan base, because I'm just like, people just need to calm down. Like, I get it. It's frustrating. We're all in this situation, but we have to accept that we're in this situation. Maybe that's just how I look at things. I remember when we lost 23-24, we were so close. We had 2 points off. And then people were like, oh, remember when we lost to Villa? Yeah, we lost 1 game in 4 months. I didn't like, in my opinion, I didn't really look back at that. I guess you can, but I was just like, it is what it is. Like, we did as much as we could. That's how I felt in that moment.
Yeah.
In this situation, like, all week, I've seen people not rate any of Arsenal's players. Like I've seen Arsenal fans be like, "Oh, actually, if we're being honest, Rice has had a bad season. Everyone's had a bad season." It's like, because they've had specific bad games. Like, Rice wasn't great against City, and that was a bad game for him. But every single player has bad games, especially when they're playing millions of games. Like, I this whole thing where everyone just thinks that the whole Arsenal team's been bad. There has been clearly bad points of it, but how are we top of the league then? What, is that down to the manager that no one wants to give credit for? Like, we've been top for the whole season. Like, there's clearly good in our team. We were also the revolution about how we've been playing. it's so recency bias based. It's incredible. People are acting like we didn't play good football. Before November and December, we were really, really good. We were by far the best team in the country by a mile.
Yeah.
And we haven't been particularly amazing other than select performances since January. But like we were still very good for half the season. Like we deserved to be where we were, and we deserved to be there until now. And now it's an even playing field. I think that's why like it was so funny. Like I feel like I have jumped in front of a moving bullet for Kai Havertz this week because, and I feel like this is not something that is new. I feel like when he signed, I did. I feel like when multiple times I've defended Kai Havertz all the time. I feel like my legacy is just going to be defending Kai Havertz at Arsenal at this point. And like
that might not be the right kind of legacy you want to keep, mate.
Well, there's some people out there defending other players who can't kick a ball. So like, I feel like I know which one. Like the thing is I never want to be like that because I hate this whole like. For some reason, this is such a social media thing with Arsenal nowadays. But people they stan a player and then they just love that player. I never care. I don't care enough about one individual player in this club. I want the club to succeed and the club to achieve. But I'm obviously going to have some inherent like leeway with players like Ødegaard, maybe not Ødegaard now, but I've definitely got leeway with Saka over other players because Saka has done so much for us. And people will be like, well, isn't one of your trophy? Yeah, but that's a team thing. It's not an individual thing. Like there's so much more to it than that. And I just think as well, when I look at things, like Havertz missed them chances. I'm not going to justify it. And there was a few times as well where it's actually quite clearly he should stay on side. He runs way too early and then he can't control the ball. Frustrating. So frustrating. Like it is annoying. I'm watching that and I'm like, what are you doing? But he also did score by himself, which people have, like I've seen a journalist go out there and say, oh yeah, but he actually missed 2 chances and everyone's justifying that. But if we actually look at his goal, it's 80% on Donnarumma and 20% on Havertz. What a dumb way of looking at life. What a stupid way of looking at what. Yeah, oh yeah, we're not going to give Havertz credit for scoring, but we'll give him credit. We'll rate him for missing chances. It's like what, give or take. Like I just don't get it. I'm not justifying Havertz's performance in terms of goal scoring, but when you look at our overall play in our game, it was just so much better. And maybe it's because the bar is in the floor. Maybe it's in the ground. Maybe the bar is 6 feet under. Maybe the bar has never been as low as it ever has been when we've just had a guy up front who can't kick a ball. Maybe that is the case. But and there's no hate on Gyökeres. I've said multiple times that Gyökeres isn't bad. He just doesn't fit our system. He doesn't fit the Prem, I don't think, because he's not a physical player enough. But I also don't think he fits us because we tried to play more direct this season. If you look at the statistics, we are playing way too direct. We kick the ball way too long. We try and get our forwards in 1v1s, and not gonna lie, Madueke, Martinelli and Gyökeres, I don't think deserve one-on-ones. None of them have been good enough this season and justified them deserving that platforming of the team. I don't think any of them have. And I look at stuff like that and I'm like, well, at least with Havertz, he was like, this is still not a fully fit Havertz. A Havertz that I'm looking at, he can't run. People talk about the Bernardo Silva club. I know it looks bad, but I just don't think he can run. And Havertz isn't very quick anyway. Like he is a giraffe. That's what, he is. But like, there's so much good play that we did. And there was a cross towards the end of the game where, Trossard or whatever crosses the ball in high up, Havertz heads it over. And I'm like, if that's I've seen people say like, oh, if Gyökeres is there, he would have scored.
I mean, if it was Marino, like
maybe if Marino,
But then Marino brings his own problems in. Like, I don't know if he presses the same way as Kai Havertz. I think maybe Gyökeres does a little bit more. Like he at least shows the intent to and intensity. But it's so difficult. Like it just needs balance sometimes in the conversation. I think that's part of the problem with that dreaded website. I'm going to still call it Twitter.
Twitter is the worst.
Because you're kind of, like when people text and something's out of context because you don't know how they're trying to put it across. I don't think even people take the time to try and address that and to even give context or balance to any conversation. I think we kind of have it's like me personally. I think when the season's done, if he leaves, fine. But we have got so many issues in our front line that I look and go, is Kai Havertz the biggest issue? No. And what he showed in that match is, at minimum, he can be a facilitator. He can lead the press. He can make our team functionally better. So things like playing over our opposition's press, we can actually play direct and give us a focal point. I think it was it 6'10" or was it just Tom earlier, guys? One of you is saying, yeah, 6'10", was saying, I think it's boring because we have no focal point up front who can hold onto the ball so the team plays safe and backwards. Kai comes back and we get some attacking momentum back. And the other thing is like when I think it was, I can't remember who put this stat out, but Arsenal have played so far in 2026, 12 different front fours in 14 Premier League matches. 12. Like that in itself, how on earth are you ever meant to play in a certain system in a certain way and really, really grow as a unit if there's no continuity? And then I looked at it, we've played 21 different configurations over the entire season in that front four. Like that's nuts. That is absolutely mental. So I give Kai like a little bit of leeway in terms of like, well, he doesn't even have Bukayo Saka out on that right-hand side, who was our linchpin in that unit. So when you're looking at it, you're going, well, he's got Eze out on the left, who was kind of coming inside a lot of the time to kind of help facilitate the midfield and help us. But he's not used to that. And then we've got not got Bukayo beside him. And then Martin Ødegaard's playing one of his first 90s for I don't know how long. So it's never going to be as perfect as we want it to be. And I think sometimes we're asking the wrong questions or we're making the wrong statements, especially online. Because Gyökeres is no better. He doesn't answer every question for us. And Marino certainly doesn't. I know a lot of people are going, oh, but if we had Marino, and I'm thinking, well, yeah, I don't get me wrong, I quite like Marino and he does help us along, but he's not your number 9 that's going to fire you to the title that you're going like he's like Haaland. There aren't many in world football now. So I think in the summer we have to do something, but it doesn't.
It's just a difficult situation in this game specifically because I genuinely think watching the game back, Havertz was actually like one of our best players. Like I genuinely think he was one of our best players. I think he had a better game than Ødegaard. I think he had a better game than Eze. But like he missed chances. If he missed chances and there was nothing else going on, I could be like, yeah, I can justify it. But he scored a goal completely out of his own volition. And then he also got in the right areas and created so much. Yes, he missed some big chances, and that is so frustrating in such big games, which we have spoken about. But we have spoken about this before years ago. People have spoken about Havertz missing chances for Arsenal for years. That is up to the team to buy better players to facilitate him not being in the squad. Like I get the money that we pay for Havertz and the wages he is on is definitely a sticking point, which gets a lot of people. But I know some other creators are very strong on the fact he's been a flop. But I would argue out of all the attackers since he's joined the club, barring Saka, he's been our second best one by a mile. And when you actually can think about it, like I look at the Havertz and Jesus transfers to get together. Okay, Jesus was injured. Havertz has been way better than Jesus. Like for us, so way better. So far, I think he's way better than Gyökeres, even with him coming back in. And I just don't think Gyökeres is going to work. You can argue Trossard's been useful for the money spent, but like he's not on that level. Trossard's not carrying us. Like Havertz carried us for a very 5 months in 23-24 when I talk about the best Arsenal I've ever seen. Havertz was a big focal point of that team being so good. And Jorginho was as well, which I made a short about. And everyone was like, is he ever going to credit Partey? No. Not in that team. Partey was good a couple of years before that, but not in that team. But I don't know, man. I just think everyone in this fan base specifically has their favorites. And I feel like as soon as Havertz came in, people were always going to treat him differently. He's Chelsea. He was, people don't like him. People don't like the way he plays. And he's always got the most just random ass hate for no reason. And I get he's frustrating, but he is no more frustrating than Jesus. Jesus doesn't get anywhere near the hate as him. You know, even Gyökeres is nowhere near the level of Havertz. And I've seen people a couple of times this season. I chuckle to myself when I see tweets going, "Why is everyone so negative on Gyökeres? You know, they've never been this negative before." Oh, mate, you weren't there 3 years ago when I was making Havertz videos on YouTube. The hate was real. Havertz, when he joined the club, I've never seen Arsenal fans be so up in raw. And then I have now since six. I've seen it when we signed Raya. I've seen it when we signed Madueke. I've seen it constantly. And then obviously people will be like, well, we got the Madueke one right. But there's those that you've got wrong. I just think lots of people don't know what they want and get very angry about things that we don't know. And the attack in recruitment has been bad. The reason we're in this situation that we might not win the league again is because the recruitment wasn't done quick enough. We should have signed players before. Havertz got ran into a ground for 2 seasons in a row.
I will always remember him just lying down. Do you remember, the end of it? Was it? That was
last season he did that. And then like he tore his hamstring like in training like a couple of weeks later. Like Saka's the same. Saka, like people will say like, oh, you're gonna have to play these players because they're your best players. I get that, but we just didn't get rotations in enough. And now we've got rotations in. It just kind of feels a little bit too little, too late. I don't think the players are good enough, and I don't think. Like I said to so many people, you have to be creative in the market nowadays because the money that people cost. You're going to have to try and gamble on a Madueke and try and gamble on these players like we did with Gyökeres. But like, I don't know, at the stage we are at in our progress, it does feel a little bit too late to be doing these things. And I don't know, it's super frustrating just like dealing with like the recruit. Like I've seen a lot of people talk about the squad depth this season and be like, well, if we actually think about it, it's not that good. But I just don't think it's been allowed to be that good. I just think if we played them more, if the team were more cohesive together, Man City used to rotate the team all the time and every player comes in, they look fine. And they've spent not much money on some of these players, but we just, with the way that we play with the team, and sometimes these players never get seen, never get play. We don't play Martinelli in the right role he should do. And then it's like, well, if he's in this team, he's in there for counter attacks, but then we don't even take the leads or dominate games anymore. So it's pointless. And it's like, I just think like, I don't know, man, there's just so many disconnects around, especially the forward line and the midfield right now that I just don't get it. And like, I watched the Man City game and it was a good performance. We were better. Havertz was good, even though he was frustrating. I thought Eze was good. Like, I thought Ødegaard up to the 60th minute was good. Like, these players were decent. We were taking more risk. We were trying. We found ways to get around their press, which they did the same thing broadly than they did the last games, which I thought they would. But I don't know, man. Like, it's like, there's so much we can achieve this season. We are in a 5-game shootout and there's a big Champions League game coming up. And I really am confident. By seeing that performance, I am confident in myself, especially in the Champions League. I really do think we can do something special here. But we can't go on like this in the future. We cannot play players 40 minutes a season and sit on the bench. We can't have players run into the ground. We can't sign players and just stick with them all the time.
How do you think we address that? Because I have a real concern that like in my job, one of the key things is constant reflection. So constant reflection, colleagues like observing us observing each other, like really like tearing apart your practice, making sure that you are learning and content. And I have every confidence that Mikel Arteta is doing that in terms of the game model. But I have a real concern that he either doesn't surround himself with the right voices of people that are going to say to him, you need to take off these players 10, 15 minutes before the end. Because it's not just about, starting players. It is about managing minutes and stuff. And Pep is a master of it. He has been so good. I'm so surprised that Mikel Arteta hasn't looked at his time at City and gone, look at those players like Foden, who was never used. He was used very sparingly. Everyone knew he had talent. And I'm not the biggest fan of him. I think he's been overrated. I would say that. But he has his uses regardless. And Pep has always done that with all of his players, like wingers especially. He's always kind of brought them in and out, and he's kind of kept them ticking over. So, like, I remember earlier in the season, everyone's talking about Cherki right now. I'm going, oh my God, what a goal he scored. And look at the antics. I saw something today saying, like, is he better than these players? And it was like Vinicius, it was Pedri, it was all these players who are like really key members of their teams that have been there and done it over and over and over again. I was like, he hardly played earlier in the season. There was a period where he wasn't being used like he is now. But Pep has worked out to kind of maximize his players. He's, like if you're training for the Olympics, they do like a 4-year cycle. They get themselves right to that peak at the right time. And I worry that Mikel's not picking that up still. And I can understand maybe like, a couple of seasons ago when we had Rob Holding, and it's that thing of, well, all right, fair enough. But right now, you can't tell me that Norgard can't play, more than, 56 minutes, I think it is. Like, he was a captain in the Premier League. Yeah. And he's looked like in some performances, he's looked great. In some performances, he's looked like he can at least do a job. And I just think, you really could have optimized our team a little bit more. And like a long-winded way of saying, like, do you think we need to bring in another coach, like someone like maybe an older head, to be able to say, Mikel, no, you need to do this? Or is that just something that he's got to pick up himself? Because it just doesn't seem to me anyway, like the voices inside the club, like, I would have thought surely the medical team are bringing it up, but maybe it's also that mental exhaustion on top.
I think he just needs to figure it out, like, and learn this. And the thing is, this is like one part of managing where I think Arteta is an expert on many other things. And I still think like you can win the league even with these probably like poor parts of him. But I just think the biggest issue is like recruitment to me. This always comes down to recruitment. And I think in some areas, there's a lot of people outside the club who think this, who aren't Arsenal fans. It's like a lot of people criticize Arteta for the recruitment, but realistically, if his recruitment is bad, he should be taken out of that. He should not be allowed to have so much power on recruitment. You can still have him as manager and still make him do things, but I don't know. I just think like I look at some of the ways that we play and we're forced to play and the way that we're going about things right now, and like. I've always been pretty like acceptable this season of like the attackers need to change. We're gonna have to make big changes. I'm not really that bothered. But I've seen like, and I said before, like, if Havertz and Ødegaard got good offers, I'd probably sell him. But I have yet to see Arsenal play actually consistently well without one of them in the team in like 5 years. I just don't know if we can. I don't know if the system is so reliant on Havertz and Ødegaard in the squad to work. It might be. And that was the question from last season, the year before, especially Ødegaard. When Ødegaard was playing bad, but he was still like the reason the setup worked because it just doesn't work without him and it crumbled. I remember we had to play 4-4-2 with Trossard up front. Like, these things are like it's like at the end of the day, I hate making your system about one guy. Sometimes I can justify it. Like with Declan Rice, I can get it. He runs around a lot, but that's a trait that you can. He is so good at. He's so aggressive, but that's a trait that you can transpire into other things. And I just don't. I don't know. We've bought so many. Like the whole point of this last summer was to buy different profiles to give us something different. And I still think that will broadly be what we do this summer. But then now we're getting to a point where we've bought so many different profiles. We're trying to get these setups to work with each other, and it just doesn't work. It doesn't work, and the jigsaw puzzle isn't working. And we are playing way too direct this season. I thought we would try and go more direct because the players we signed, and I thought, maybe it'd be all right. But I remember that first game of the season where we had all that space against United and we were just awful on the counter. And I was like, they'll learn it. They'll get better. There were some games that we were okay, but we have been broadly awful. Just playing this style. We need to play slow. It's a bit like City. City can turn it up and play over the top if they need to, but City is still a better team when they play it slower and can pick apart teams. They just are. They're a better team when they do that. Maybe not now, but they have been historically. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like I look at this and I'm like, what? I think. I mean, I don't really have much to say about the Newcastle game tomorrow. They're on awful form. I am very confident. I am very confident if we play the same way. If Havertz is up front, if Eze's on the left, which, funnily enough, I so random that I just knew that he was going to do it. I knew he was going to play Eze left wing.
I just wished he played Martinelli out on the other side because when he came on, I know the people have been talking about that pressing, but he actually was one of the people that nicked the ball a couple of times. He made things happen. Madueke was awful.
Yeah,
like he was horrendous.
So
I think that would have been the right lineup, but the rest of the team was fine. It was absolutely fine. Like, yeah, I'm quite confident about it, but sorry, interrupting you.
Do you think, like, I think a good way to try, like, the only real question I have about Newcastle, obviously it looks like Calafiori and Saka are in contention to be in the squad, so that's good. Like, I feel like there's two questions I kind of want to ask you and also like kind of talk about, and there's two things I kind of like think about this game. The first one is, like, should Zubimendi continue starting every game? Because I think there has to be, I don't think he'll do it against Newcastle, but there has to be some sort of thought of even playing Ødegaard and Eze in the middle with Rice or playing Miles in midfield. There has to be one. He's not going to play Norgard, has to be one of them. And then the other question I want to ask is something I alluded to a little bit last week. Is there a consideration at some point at the rest of this season that Gabriel has to come out of the team and Calafiori has to play centre-back?
Do you know what? I was thinking about that one the other day. There's a role reversal. It's quite nice, actually. I do think Zubi has to come out of the team somewhat, but the problem is we're so few on games now. It's almost like we've left it too late. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's almost like that, well, you're taking him out, but this is the time where you need that quality, and we can all see, just look at the first half of the season, the quality he has. He's undeniably one of our best passers of a ball and best controllers. However, we're just not seeing it because he is flagging. I'm looking at the fixtures right now. So you got Newcastle, Atletico, and then Fulham. And I think for me, if I was kind of in charge, I'd be going, he kind of has to play against Newcastle, I think, with an Ødegaard as a midfield, although they're missing Joel Linton, I think you're kind of running the risk of getting run over a little bit. And that's always been our problem. But then, so for me, I would start him there. I think he has to play against Atleti. Like, you know, going to Spain, it kind of makes sense. It writes itself. Fulham come next. That's one where you could probably pull him out and put like a Norgard in, or play Eze and Ødegaard together. You got Atletico again, so you play him again then bring him out probably. Well, you got West Ham, Burnley, Palace. So West Ham, I mean, they're playing better than Tottenham, but we should be able to beat them. Burnley, I mean, if we can't beat Burnley,
he's got to come out for the Burnley game.
And then Palace, you play him there.
Yeah.
So that's how I would play it.
Yeah,
but I'm almost at that thing of like, I can kind of see from Arteta's point of view, because it's like, I've shot myself in the foot now. I kind of have to, mate, you are going to have to ride it out. You're going to have to play, and you're going to have to play damn well. We will run you into the ground. Like, you're going to have a bad World Cup, but that's what's happening now. So it's funny. I can kind of just see in Arteta's brain.
He's got to rotate. Surely at some point, like, surely
he's just not. He's just not going to do it. We know this.
Surely he doesn't play Zubimendi for all 7 games. Potentially, yeah.
It does Zubimendi start every game from now till the end of the season? Like, tell us in the chat, does he?
I don't think I'd play him against Fulham, because I just think like how Fulham are going to be a pain in the arse to play, like they always are. Like, that's why I'm not as worried about Newcastle. Newcastle are a better team, and they've always given us problems. But this Newcastle team is bad. They're on bad form, and Gordon's not in the squad, and Livramento's not fair. So that's like their 2 best players are like not in the squad. But like Fulham are just going to sit in a nasty, dirty little mid block and like just try and break us. And like I kind of like a Miles in that game to break that open a little bit more. I just don't think Zuba's going to do anything. I feel like he will try Miles. I feel like he will play Miles against Burnley in midfield. I just think, I mean, I guess it depends, but like,
that is massive though, because
like he's got to, because like, I don't know. Like,
second last game of the season. That is literally season defining.
But if we're in the Champions League final at that point, there's also like, that's got to be it. You got to figure like, that's a big game coming up. Like, He can't play Zubimendi for all 7, potentially 8 games, in my opinion. Like, he cannot start all 8. Like, against, I actually don't mind. Like you said, I completely agree with Zubimendi playing against Athletic. He's good in the Champions League. He plays way better in that competition. But, like, I don't know. Yeah,
maybe that is the plan. Maybe we're looking at the recruitment wrong. Maybe Berta's master plan is he's going, no. You don't have a rotational squad. You have an 11 that play in the Premier League, and they play every game. And then you have an 11 that play in the Champions League. So that's why we're keeping Martinelli. That's what Gyökeres is here and Madueke. That's these players are playing Champions League. That's what we don't sub them on, boys. We don't.
It's so funny that like the Champions League semi-finals literally Berta's 2 teams. Like most of the players are going to be recruited from him for both teams. That feels like mostly them, but yeah, that's just. I also like I do. I think that's a big point about it. Zubimendi weren't great. I would say out of all the concern, there was 2 stats that were slightly concerning in the City game. The one that they had 40 touches in our box, but then they didn't have really meaningful chances through that, so it's kind of okay, but that's not something you want to like it to continue. And then the fact that obviously that big stat everyone's talking about where we made like 1 line breaking pass or whatever, and they made like loads, they made like 15 or whatever, which is just damning. The midfield cannot pass at the moment, whether it comes from a technical level, a security reason.
I think there's a good video about that out on YouTube somewhere.
But the midfield like has to change, in my opinion. Like something has to change. Like we're just not getting enough from them. Ødegaard in this game, I actually think like helped them so much to make it look okay at times, and then so did Eze as well when he came inside. But oh my god, they're like. I just Zubimendi right now, especially in the league. I'm looking at Fulham game and I'm like, I don't want to play him. I don't want to play him tomorrow, to be honest.
The good thing is we do actually have options. Like we genuinely do, because you can, like you say, you could bring Miles in. Like I think he gives you something very different to most of the players that we have in the squad. You've got Norgard that you can bring in. You've got Rice can go to the base, and then you can play both Eze and Ødegaard together. You can bring Ødegaard out and kind of go like we did for quite a while he was injured at the beginning of the season with Eze as a 10. And like, so there are like multiple ways that we can do it. But I just don't know if Mikel will. That's the weird thing, isn't it? Like, I just wish earlier in the season, we were doing that and making teams double guess a little bit. Because sometimes you're battling, you're towing the line between having that consistency, because you want your spine to be really consistent, and you want the patterns of play to become kind of autonomous. But at the same time, you don't want teams to go, well, we know exactly how you're going to play. We know exactly who you're going to play. And I think we have fallen almost into a rut right now. And the players look like sometimes they don't know how to get themselves out of it. Because it's like, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Like, just a couple of questions for you, because I'm going to reverse this. Back to questions for Reese. So first one here from 610. Okay, so there's a story out that PSG want to break the bank to get Gabriel. Oh, and I didn't answer your question on this, so we can both answer this. So hypothetically, would you swap him for Kvaratskhelia? Now, I do agree with you in terms of there's definitely a problem with Gabriel. Whether I bring him out of the team, though, is just such a massive call. I think the one player that you could bring him out for that makes most sense is Calafiori. I don't really like the idea of bringing him out for Hincapié, or doing like a weird thing where we've got like Mosquera and then either Saliba goes to the left centre back or Mosquera at left centre back. I don't really like that. So I think the one player that would be Calafiori. My biggest concern is like he's been injured again, and it almost, I don't know if it sends the wrong message to the rest of the league of like, oh, there's a little chink of their armor there. There's like, do you know what I mean?
You love talking about sending a message.
Yeah, I do. But it's because I think sometimes, like from my own personal point of view and experiences, I can always remember. So I can picture as well. I can't name everyone that I played against in terms of goalkeepers, but I can picture most of them. And if they weren't there in goal, I go, oh, Today's the day. Field day today. I'm getting a couple. And I just felt like, 3 inches taller. I felt like I was going to be like an extra second quicker over the 100. So it was just that mental side. I think sometimes it can be over-edged. But when you're playing a big team like Arsenal, I think, say, even like, I don't know, like, say, a Newcastle, they might just suddenly look and go, oh, Gabriel's not playing. Oh, okay. Oh, Calafiori, can we get at him? And just start targeting. And I'm not saying, I think Calafiori is fantastic and he gives you so much in terms of build-up. I think he would solve a lot of problems that we've kind of got right now. Like, whether it's building up from the back, whether it's that like second phase, we are struggling at times. But I just don't know if now's the time and who you would do it against with Gabriel. But there's definitely an issue. Like, are you at the point, though, where you think selling, because we have to raise funds and we, like we said, we are going to have to go in the market and that forward line has got to be bolstered. Maybe not Kvaratskhelia, but say like a top winger. Would you be willing to get rid of Gabriel, let him go, to bring in someone like that? Or does that kind of destabilize our spine and cause more problems? Like, which which side of the seesaw, which side of the fence?
I mean, what I will say on the whole Gabriel thing is that, like, I get what you're saying with the whole like message thing, but like, Man City don't play Ruben Diaz anymore. Ruben Diaz was their best centre back for years. He's now basically not good enough because Kuzanov is their best centre back and Gay's now come in. Does anyone really look at Man City as any weak? Like, people, we might go into that game thinking they're weaker. They've beaten us twice now. I certainly. I mean, I think Kuzanov's excellent. Like, I see a lot of people. It's like the whole thing about Gay and Semenyo. If you actually analyze Gay and Semenyo's individual performances, they've been okay. Semenyo's not even been that good. He just scores goals. Like, I always speak about this, and like people go, "Oh, we could have got Semenyo in, but we got Madueke." Yeah, cool, but like,
I don't think we would have used him right anyway. So
Semenyo would have been in the same situation. Yeah, like, he might have been better, but like, Semenyo just is not. His first touch is not great. Like, and like stuff I have the problems with Madueke of.
I mean, he was pretty anonymous against us in the Etihad.
I made a tweet today about Leao, and I got a comment about it. I thought it was so funny. I said in it, like, I just don't think Leao will ever work for Arsenal because his work rate isn't good enough. And people are like, you don't watch him. I do watch him. I literally watched every single game when AC Milan won the league. I was literally like, I from a child, I've been they've been my Italian club. I used to like them a lot. I've watched him for years, but like, at the end of the day, like, yeah, he might try, but he doesn't try hard enough. Madueke, the biggest issue we have in this team right now is he has no idea how the out of possession thing works, and he is actually trying. And I put that in my tweet, and someone said, "Oh, this man mentioned Madueke and Leao and the same thing I talked about that out of possession pressing. That's what do you mean? You could do that about anything? Well, that makes no sense. And I just think I looked at that and was like, okay, some other teams should take that risk, but we shouldn't. Because I've learned things that don't work in our setup. There's just fundamental ways that people play that we need different profiles, but they don't work. Yeah. I think on Gabriel, like, the biggest issue is if Calafiori's in left back or Miles is in left back, it doesn't seem Gabriel isn't as bad because his hoofball, his passing has always been decent. Like, no, it was awful and then it got really good. But the last 6 months, well, since he got injured in December, or however many months that is, 4 months, his passing's been awful.
It's
through the
fallen
floor.
Off a cliff.
And I spoke about this a lot about how he's just been panicking. He's been kicking the ball long. And that's fine when you've got a Calafiori next to you who can carry the ball out or something like that. But when it's in Capia, he's going to do the same thing. So it doesn't help. So maybe as soon as you bring Calafiori in, he's better. But he's still a nervous wreck, which is things I expect from Gabriel. But it is still very recency biased. Before December, he was one of our best players. The last 3 years, he's been one of our best players. He said in an interview the other day, this has been his best season. I think it's been your worst season since the first season you joined, buddy. I think the last 3 seasons have all been way better than this season individually for him. Especially the last 5 months where he's not been great.
I need to really think about that. But yeah, carry on.
And like he's just made big individual mistakes all season, like Bournemouth, Newcastle, Wolves, like just consistently, like he is just a little bit of a liability. I think the reason why he'll always stay in the team is not only because he's kind of vice captain at the moment, maybe third captain if Ødegaard's back, but he is that threat from set pieces. Although he hasn't really been a threat from them in a while now, he is still a threat.
To be fair, our set pieces haven't been great, have they? So
no, because we keep doing like some funky ass stuff. I just watched Sunderland score the exact same. No, not Sunderland. I saw Forest score the exact same set piece twice against Sunderland. They took it short, did an in-swinging cross on both sides, had a guy just head it across goal both times. Exact same on both sides. I was like, why don't we just do simple stuff like that? But like, I don't know. I probably wouldn't get rid of Gabriel, but he is older. I don't think the centre backs in the world are amazing, but I do think there's like deals can be done for younger centre backs who are good. Like Man City, I know they spent 50 million because of but he's not young, but they went really out for him because he was really quick and a decent passer at a young age. I think he's one of the best centre backs in the world already. I think he's an incredible player. So it's like I just think like maybe we should be a bit wet, like what not like wanting to set him and not like trying to, but like you said, like
more open to it.
Yeah, especially if it is to do a deal with PSG. I've always been very pushed back on the PSG winger thing because I've always been like, look, it's always speculation. I don't really know what's going to happen. But I have spoken to some people and I've been doing a lot of research, and I don't necessarily think this can happen, but I think that how they look at their dynamics in their team is that it's basically Dembele, Kvaratskhelia are like the two biggest people. Then it's like Doué's a little bit less than them. He plays most minutes. And then I think Barcola is like a level below. Like I don't
I agree with that.
I don't think Barcola is on the starting winger level if they're all fair. And also Barcola's contract negotiations have been stalling. So maybe there is a world where we could get Barcola. If we're going to talk about like, would you get rid of Gabriel for Barcola? That's like something that could be realistic, maybe. Like maybe that's something that happens. Like, but a Gabriel and Pacho partnership is pretty good, to be fair. Very physical. I think, I don't know. I just think sometimes Calafiori is there. And this guy, in my opinion, is a game breaker. He isn't individually, like talent-wise, he's our best defender. Like in terms of like, I don't know, like attack and play. Like Sleep is the best defender in the world. But in terms of attack and play, he really has it all. And I just don't see enough of it because we don't use it enough. And I'm like, we need to use it more, man. And we've seen it at the start of this season. He was incredible.
Oh, unbelievable. Like, I don't know about Gabriel leaving, like just in totality. I just don't, I feel like he's one of those players that we need to keep in the club. And then eventually he goes, you know, once you win a couple of trophies and then he goes and someone else comes in with Saliba and then Saliba gets like the massive thing, kind of like we had with like Adams and Sol Campbell and stuff. I think those guys are on such a level for them even to be considered and in conversations with players like, you know, Adams, Bold, Keown, like Campbell, Toure, like considering they haven't won anything really. I think that's testament to how good they are and how much they mean to the fans as well and the fan base. But we do have to work out who can leave. Like, I think at some point we should probably, maybe like right at the end of the season, we should go through like almost like a tier ranking list of players that have to stay and are pillars of the squad, players that need to stay because there's not really upgrades to them or because of their partnerships with it. And then going through to like players that have to leave and players that really you if the offer's good enough or we can get in someone else. Because I think I'm going back and forth on Ødegaard at the moment, like personally, in terms of like raising money. I think it's so frustrating because he is pivotal sometimes to the things that we do good. But then I look and go, there's just so much stuff that I'm going, he's not the Ødegaard that we had like a few seasons ago, you know, with the ozone and actually scoring goals and penetrative passes and stuff. Now suddenly he's coming out of the block and he's kind of more of like, he's kind of this all phase role and stuff. And maybe it's an aesthetic thing and more of a personal bias of what I like in a player, because I love Eze. I love the way he plays. But yeah, I'm going back and forth with Ødegaard going, Like he has to leave.
Yeah.
Or maybe we should just look at, like you say, say a Nico Paz. If you can go get a Nico Paz, you can get good money for Ødegaard. Now's the time, because it's going to be one of the last seasons, and he's not getting better, and his injury record is getting worse. But I think there's conversations to be made with players other than your like Martinelli's, your Trossards. I think as a fan base, we're quite quick to go, no, you can't get rid of them yet. Oh, no, you couldn't get rid of them. Like, what are you thinking about? I remember Overmars leaving. I remember Petit leaving, like a World Cup winner and like a double winner, probably the best midfield pairing I've seen at the club. And it wasn't like a massive thing because we brought in Gilberto. We brought in a Perez. We brought in... And that's what the club needs to start doing. I think we need to be a bit more proactive and have a little bit more forethinking. Like you said with Kustanov, that kind of, well, there is a player that we can bring in, and he might not be on that level yet, but he's damn sure going to get there. He might even get a little bit higher, and we're going to get some longevity. But you wait too long, you know what it's like in football. You're never going to get the same money, and you're never going to get the same.
The problem is like the problem with Arsenal's squad right now is that, and a few people have rightly said this online, is that we just don't have any definitive spot. Like everything in our team is murky. Like even getting rid of Ødegaard, like buying a Nico Paz, but then you've got Eze for 70 mil and Nico Paz for 80 mil.
Yeah.
They're both attacking midfielders. One's left foot, one's right foot. Okay, cool, whatever. But it's still like, what is we doing here? Like that isn't like how you should build a squad. It's like, then do you want to buy a left winger? Is Eze now going to play the rest of this season as a left winger because he played okay there against Thingy? But then like, oh, next season when we buy a left winger, he's going to be pushed back into midfield. Like Arsenal, the first thing Arsenal need to do this summer is definitively know what they're like, what players are in what positions can cover for others, but are broad. Like,
can I ask you a question on that?
Yeah.
Do we need? And I know we've talked about this in the past, but I don't know if you've really thought about it. Do we need, while we're doing that and we're planning out the squad and then the future of the squad and recruitment, do we need to actually go, do you know what? Declan Rice isn't an 8, he is a 6. Or, I don't know, we just go, you know what? Saka is actually going to be a 10 now. And we start looking at players and going, what is their real role? Not what do you want, Arteta? Like, what's actually going to be best for them, not best for the team, and then platform them? Like, so do you think that needs to be...
Like, just a bit of both. It always depends on, like, the positions, because, like, it just depends of how the squad's going to work and where you actually want to move into. Like, there is going to be chances. Like, I look at some players in our squad, specifically like Marino. Like, what is Marino definitively going to be next season? Is he just going to be this second choice? Because let's say Arsenal buy another midfielder in, like, who's maybe more of a 6 sort of type. Like, so what is Marino then going to be? So he's going to be maybe third choice to Rice, third choice striker. If we're apparently, there's rumors that we want to buy Tresoldi to replace Jesus and 30 mil in and out. Which makes a lot of sense, because then at least you've got a definitive role of like, oh, you've got I mean, I guess if in this hypothetical, let's say we're keeping Havertz and Gyökeres, Gyökeres is your, bang, bang, bang striker, Europe, probably off the bench more. Havertz is the guy that's going to consistently start. And then you've got Tresoldi, who's young, who can play in the cup games and come in late in games and learn and improve. And at least then you've got a definitive, like, okay, we know what we're going to do with this. And then when you buy a main left winger, you've got a main left winger, and then you've got maybe one of the Trossard and Mane still on the bench, and then Eze can cover that. That's like what I want to see Arsenal move into a bit more. Some of these players, like Marino, I'm just like, where is your role going to be next season? You're clearly a very important figure behind the scenes, but are you just going to be third choice in 4 different spots for the club? That's okay. We can maybe deal with that, but like, is Norgard going to still be here? Like, there's things that
he's got to go. He's got to go.
There's got to definitively, I mean, there's things that have to be definitively like resolved here. Like, until I think about like, oh, can we get rid of Ødegaard and be fine? I think as well, like, we need to have internal solutions are the best way to go when we need to be careful of who we buy and the players that we're buying in certain areas. So instantly, I'm thinking Ethan Nwaneri is an attacking midfielder. You don't even need to think about buying an attacking midfielder, because he's there. He's good enough. I don't care. And if you're not confident about him being an attacking midfielder, and maybe the rumors are that he doesn't want to play right wing, and in this contract it said play more in midfield. Maybe that's more the rumors. He can still find a role there. If not, you can move him to right wing and move Saka inside, or
Yep.
because this is a situation as well. Like I spoke about so much where we've got Dalman, we've got Madueke, we've got Saka, we've got Winery. We're going to have to find a way for one of them to move into midfield a bit. And I think Saka makes the most sense to go into Ian Cam as a striker option, but then we don't need to buy Chisoldi, maybe get rid of Gyökeres. Like, there is so much moving parts around this whole thing that we need to figure out. And like it's not even just about sales, it's about them sort of things. And I know people have got very they want a Rice backup because if Rice gets injured, I get it. But I just think the easiest way to buy a player is not to buy one. It's just to use Miles in a different way and then buy a 6. So, because this midfield doesn't work. And it did work at the start of the season, but right now, for the last 5 months, it hasn't worked. Maybe that's because Zubimendi's tired. Okay, cool. But that still means we need a midfielder. A 6 or an 8 or whatever it is.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be someone who's more of a pure passer. I did that tweet the other day about it, and someone was like, well, we need someone that can tackle. Yeah, well, yeah, obviously. Like, it's pro football, but 90% of people can do that. Yeah, I mean, Elliot Anderson looks like he's going to go to Man City for 120 mil, unfortunately, because he's the best midfielder in the league, probably. But, yeah.
Well, it's like someone was saying to me, because I've said it multiple times, I love the idea of Adam Walton. And they would say, well, yeah, but defensively and so on. And I said, well, we have got one of the best recovery players, and we play in such a manner where I don't think he gets exposed. I think Walton and Rice, brilliant, amazing. And he just gives you options sometimes. Like in terms of like game changer, we've missed that. We've really missed that. I just think I don't know how much
I
he would
feel like
cost.
Wharton's just such a weird one. I haven't really watched Wharton in the last. I watched him in the Conference League because I watch all Palace's Conference League games.
Yeah.
But I've only watched him really in the Conference League for the last couple of months. I just find I've always looked at him and gone, he would be a really, really good 8. And I really think he has so much 8 tendencies that I'm like, oh, that would be great. And I just can't really remember Anderson was just easy because Anderson's played with Rice.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of sense. Anderson's the best passer. I think Wharton is an incredible passer. He is a great one. I just don't know how to define him because I don't think Wharton is a natural sitting 6. I think he moves too much, if it makes sense. I think Arsenal actually need someone that doesn't move too much. That is the issue I have with Zubimendi, specifically. I think when it works, it's incredible, especially in Europe. You can see his running. Some of the runs he does, the goal against Villa is when he gets that initiative and runs into the box. And then even against
we haven't seen that for a while.
Even against Sporting, he made some really good runs into the box and got there. But the problem is that we just don't have enough control to do that consistently. And we need a sitter. We need someone who's going to calm things down, sit with the ball, and be able to play the ball through the lines all the time. And Warren can do that. I think he can do that, but there's still a development part to him. I don't know, you could buy loads of 6s for 30, 35 mil who can just come in for certain games. Because I'm not saying Zubimendi needs to be dropped forever. I'm just saying some games he needs to come out the team, and next season we've got to do better with that. But, I don't know. I think there's so many midfielders. If we're not putting our hat in these names, I don't know what to say. I think Wharton's going to go to Liverpool, and I think Anderson's going to go to City. And then United still need to buy a midfielder. So I don't know who they're going to buy. They need to buy probably 2. Who knows what other team, Enzo Fernandez was linked to Man City, and now it looks like they want to get Anderson, but Enzo Fernandez is a player that a lot of teams will want. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't want to
take it, Enzo.
No, he's basically Rice. He would play the same role. We need a proper set. He's a great 8 running around box to box, but we've already got that. We're fine with that profile.
No, it's interesting. I'm quite looking forward to the summer because I do feel there's going to be a big turnover, which brings me on to this question from earlier from 610. Hope you're well, mate. Do you think Bert is a type of person to sell players only after 1 year if they don't work out? I can tell you, I 100% think that. However, I don't know whether he has the power to do that and the voice to do that. I do think he's over time going to be right now. They will be planning. They would have been planning since January. We don't really make signings in January anyway, so they plan quite long term at Arsenal. I think he's going to be looking at marquee signings, because it's no coincidence that we've been linked to players like Kvaratskhelia and Julian Alvarez. Like, if you're looking at the most valuable players in the world, they're probably two of the only ones that you might get a possibility of getting. Like, going higher than that, you're looking at your Jude Bellinghams, your Haalands, your, those players that would just, quite frankly, you're not going to pull them out of those clubs. So I don't think that's any surprise. But I wouldn't be surprised if he did. The problem lies where it's really difficult for him to do that because they are his first signings. One of them is Gyökeres, who is a very anti-Arteta thing. And I wonder if part of the messaging from that, see what I did there? Part of the messaging from him to Arteta was like, we need something different. And, a win now player, a player who's in their prime, a player who's going to play on the edge kind of a little bit more, rather than your Kai, who's more of this kind of, I don't know, playmaker 9 type thing. I don't know if you could get rid of him. Madueke, especially, like, the Madueke thing is mad. To bring him in and then have the backlash. It's another Chelsea reject, I'm going to say. Like, it's really hard to then be like, everyone get behind him and then sell him. I just don't know.
Madueke's never not leaving.
I just don't think he is. But for me personally, I'd be like, if we went, do you know what? Cut your losses, get rid of him. Like you said, we've got enough of players that could go in there internally. I don't even know if...
But the whole Madueke is my age. He's 24. Like, the whole point of him, you don't buy a 23-year-old, play him for one season and go, that's it, we've given up now. Like, that's just not how
I know that. But I do wonder if they look at it and go, you might actually have to be our starting right winger. Do you know what I mean? Like, in terms of, if Saka is coming inside, I wonder if the long-term plan was Saka goes into 10 and Madueke becomes our starting right winger, and we're going to have more of this transitional-based player, someone a bit more direct, and they look at it and go,
maybe, but we did spend 70 mil. We spent 70 mil on Eze. Like, Eze's, I would assume is going to be the future. I don't know. Who knows what can happen? Because at the end of the day, we could sign like a Yan Diomande, and then there could be situations where Eze plays on the left, Diomande plays on the right, and then Saka, and they rotate in games. That could be happening. But looking at who Arsenal, and the thing is, the last 2 days have actually been, there's been loads of like transfer reports the last 2 days, because World Cup year is this year, and teams know that if they don't get in there quick, some of these players could get their value boosted from the World Cup, and then not only cost more, but more teams would be interested. I think in some markets, like we said about the midfield market, there is plenty of midfielders out there that are good enough that could do a job for us. I'm like, there's at least 8. Like, so if we don't get Anderson, I'm a bit upset. Yeah, we don't get Wharton, yeah, I'm a bit upset. But there is still others up there that I'm not going to like cry about. And I think there's also, like, say Boadi, for instance, he's a bit more like Rice, so maybe like, I don't know if it's exactly the profile I want right now, but it's still a youngster that you're worth getting. It does look like we are trying to look at Barcola. Maybe there is probably a world where Barcola could come here, and like that would be a very different type of winger that would really help. I think Madueke, like this is the thing, when I was quite. It's like when Chelsea signed Garnacho last year. They signed him for like 30 mil. And I was like, any other 19-year-old or 20-year-old in any other top 5 league, if he was at Napoli doing the goal, you watch a compilation of him, people being like, 30 mil, this guy's insane. But obviously there's a lot of other extended problems that we all know because we watch Garnacho every week. And like, and even at Chelsea, that is clearly the big problem. Every Chelsea fan hates him because of of just his attitude, the way he plays. Like it's just a certain things that he does that aren't great. That where you're like, but he's still only like 21, like, or whatever. He's super young. Where it doesn't work. So they're already, and Chelsea, give up on talent instantly. But like, you don't spend 50 mil on a 23-year-old and go like, oh yeah, well, you've had a bit of a mid-season, you've had a poor season, so we're going to get rid of you. We knew what we were getting with Madueke. He's a raw player. He still makes mistakes. He hasn't got any end product. We knew that, and I don't think they'll be surprised. Like, I'm sure that the club is the players that like Gyökeres are a bigger example, because Gyökeres is someone that when he signed, I spoke about sell on value. Sell on value of players don't work. It was a big part of why I wanted Šeško over him, just in case this didn't work, that we could get rid of him. He is still 28, so there is maybe an idea that you could get some money because the striker market is pretty poor. And I'm sure that there's teams even though there's not a lot of money in teams like Italy and Spain, maybe they could forge together 30, 35, 40 mil and be like, can we buy Gyökeres? And I'm sure he'd be absolutely rampage in these leagues. It'd be insane. And maybe there's a way to get that. But I've seen the links up. We've got so many links to Alvarez. Alvarez only works in this team if we play him with Havertz. It's the same with Krupi. Krupi only works in this team if you play him with Havertz. He's not a lone striker. Like he's not. And I did a tweet about this, and someone said like, oh, maybe he's just a good striker. Well, he's not a striker for one. Like he just doesn't play like a striker. He's like a Dennis Bergkamp centre forward secondary striker role. Like he is not going to be leading your line. Like that's not something you want to do with him, especially right now. So it's like, well, if we are looking at these sort of players, because I think there was links to Krupi the other day. I think City have been linked to him as well, which makes way more sense for City with how they play. I'm like, okay, well, maybe there's some idea. They have to be flexible, and you have to swallow your ego sometimes. Like I agree, like they should be willing to sell these players. I don't think Madueke will be sold because it's just like you don't give up on talent. Like when you just invest so much, but people like Gyökeres, you do give up on. like low key. Like I think like
mate, do you know what? Someone put in the Discord for TDK Plus. I didn't read the whole thing, but it just, when you have like a notification on your screen and you have like a tiny bit, it just says Gyökeres at age 32. And I was like, oh God, that just that sentence. I thought, oh no, I can't have that with him. Like, do you know what I mean? Like he's not searing pace right now, but him lumbering a little bit older and stuff. And I think, oh no, what have we done? What have we done? Like, and this is a player who's really goals and assists wise, he's done pretty well in a dysfunctional team. He's just not right for us. So I think, like, I would like to think Berta would do it, but time will tell. Like, if there was one player, it's him. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if Kepa goes, for example.
I think Kepa will leave, to be honest.
And then Norgard. So I don't think they'll. Yeah, I can't see them worrying about them, but it's the big ones, isn't it?
It completely depends on because the thing is, we won't ever know if there's we won't ever know if it never happens. We won't know if there was a slight chance that they could leave. I really don't think I think I look at Havertz and Gyökeres and I'm like, they're similar ages, they're players for the team. They're both on a lot of money. Havertz is on a bit more, I think. But I look at it and go, Havertz is definitely the more sellable asset. You could get good money for Havertz and probably just cut your losses. If you want to do that and cut your losses, I'm not going to say no to that because he can't fit. I'm not going to say no, but I'm still yet to see us play amazing without him consistently. But eventually we've got to learn. But the problem is Gyökeres is the opposite. Like Gyökeres is the player I'd probably rather sell, but he's probably going to get no offers, and we kind of just got to stick with him. And maybe there is a way that Gyökeres can still be a good player off the bench. He still works hard and he's still available. If he can continue this availability up, he's always got a place in the squad. Our team's always dropping off with how much they play. But I don't know. It feels such a weird summer because it's such a transition, where I think we don't need as many players as we did last summer, but we just need to rotate the team. We actually need to sell players and get new players in and figure out what we're going to do, what setup are we going to play, because everything is that dependent. I want it to be changed. I think that we've kind of run our course playing the way that we play, and I think we do need a change. And these things happen when you get different players in and different structures in, and maybe that's why they're looking at an Alvarez, for instance, or a Krupi, or players like this, because they're thinking maybe we'll just do a 4-4-2.
Because on paper, I look at Alvarez and just go, talent-wise, I mean, he's incredible. And like I said about my own biases, I look at him and go, I just love the way he plays, love the way he carries, the fact that he'll just out of nothing go, do you know what? I'm gonna hit it from here. And we don't have any of those players. And whether you think he'd be stifled in those tendencies, or whether you think he can, play and hold up the ball from, long balls directly from Raya and stuff. he, to me, is a better player. Like, he is one of the most exciting forward players. And then I have that nagging thing of going, but would he work at Arsenal? And maybe we should stop doing that. And we should go, no, just get him in because he is such good quality, and change the way we attack. Because like you say, it's time for some change. But then I go, well, we kind of did that with Gyökeres, and that's not really worked out. So it's just this vicious cycle. And it goes back to me saying at the beginning of the pod, hey, look at that looping background. I just don't know who to point the finger at and who, like, where we go. It's so frustrating.
Yeah.
It's just so annoying.
It's funny as well, because I think as well, going into the summer, a lot of Arsenal fans broadly will just be like, oh, we want to get quality players in. And I get that. And I'm all for that train. I've been on that train last summer as well. But obviously there has been some pushback. Like, I've watched, some of these players aren't that great, but I've seen some players that are good. And I'm like, they're not being used in the right way, or even like our own players that I look at it, like Martinelli, like Saka, like, are they getting used in the right way? Are we getting the best out of them? And I'm like, I just don't think we are sometimes. And I look at some, like, I think we've been linked quite heavily to Ivan Fraseda from Sporting.
I got a text message during this saying there's going to be a scouted episode on TDK Plus. Can you make a thumbnail of Fresneda? So you are 100% right there, mate.
Well, he's a guy that, like, I'm pretty sure Arteta wanted him when he was in Spain. He played in Spain, I think, at Real Valladolid, and he was, like, really, really good. Like, I remember his stats were popping for everything, like progressive carries, like crossing he was really good at. He was, like, really good at getting the box, and his dueling is always, like, his one-on-one dueling is incredible. I haven't watched him too much at Sporting because, screw that team. But and I remember last summer I said I never wanted to do business with Sporting again. So when I saw this link come up, I was like, oh my god! Like, I don't, like, it's just a fact it's Sporting. I got to deal with them. But that is, like, people will, like, be upset about that because everyone's upset about everything. But, like, people will be annoyed about it and be like, oh, maybe I want Livramento. But Livramento's injured again right now, and I've always been like, Livramento's talent-wise the guy that I want. He can play on both sides. I think he's incredible. I'm watching him for years, but we just need reliability. Like, we just need we need players that we know can stay. Like, and it doesn't necessarily mean they don't got injured. They could still just get injured. Like, Timber never had an injury. He came in and, like, tore his ACL in his first game. That just happens. That happens sometimes.
Marino did the same. I mean, there's countless players, isn't there?
And that sometimes happens, especially how physical we are and how we play, and sometimes you get unlucky. But, like, I don't know, man. Livramento has had so many injury problems all the time that I'm like, I just want, and he's also going to cost so much money that it's like, at that point, I would rather get even Fresneda. I haven't watched him too much, so I can't speak on him too much, but Palestri, who plays in Serie A, like someone like that, who's like, because I saw a report that, like, our Atalanta will want Palestri for 30 mil or something, and I was like, 25, 30 mil for a right back cover. You get rid of Ben White for probably the same amount of money. That's fine. It's like when getting Tresoldi in for 30 mil and selling Jesus for 25, 30 mil. Perfect. That is fine. That is, reinventing the squad with new talent and new players who are younger and can give us something, who aren't going to be, like, tasked with playing all the time. They're just going to be nice squad players, and it's for the same money, so you can accept that. And then I'm like, that's calm. I'm happy with that. All the money, in my opinion, I don't think Arsenal need to spend huge amounts of money on the midfield. We spent 70 million on Zubimendi. We spent 100 million on Declan Rice. We've got, in my opinion, them two midfielders are good enough to win us the league, but we just need sometimes something a little bit different. We need some new players to come in. And if they get injured, like, players to come in and be good enough to play. Maybe that can be a 30 mil signing. Maybe if you want to pay 50 mil for Buedi, fine. But we can use Mars as well, who can still be an option. Marino can still be an option. Like these players are there. And I think I just think all the money has to be spent on the attack, whether that is to buy two players or one player. Like, all of it has to be on there. If you want to spend 80 mil on Barcola, you know what? I've been, like, somewhat against it, but I don't know who the left wingers who are good enough anymore. So I'd rather Barcola. This is why Anthony Gordon is going to be one of the most wanted wingers in the world. And people are like, why? Why is he wanted? Because he's reliable. He's just a reliable outfit. He's one of the most, like, you know what you're going to get from Gordon. He's played in the Prem. He's played against the block. He's played in high pressing systems.
But people don't like that, Reese. Well, people want excitement. They want the unknown. That's what it is.
Well, Gordon's also, scored like 10 Premier Champions League goals or something. I know, like, his stat pad against Karabag.
Hey, that's another player for Berta's European 11.
It's a big summer. Like, I do think Arteta. It's just so hard to blame Arteta for individual transfers because there's definitely players that you can see are like Arteta coded. I.e., when we signed Marino, I was the most Arteta player ever. Like, no,
100%.
obviously it was like.
Do you remember the dual stat that was going around, and everyone's going, "Oh yeah, okay."
Like, you could just tell, like, when someone is so coded to like when like Man City signed Mateus Nunes, it just came because of this love that Pep had for years. I'm sure the scouting department are probably like, we don't really want him, and then they're like, he's like, no, give me him. Like, there is some of these players that you can tell the manager has just like push their way in, like, to get, and like, it's hard to know how many of players from last summer are really on that. But I will to say, end my point, at least I will say that Eze, I think, is really becoming good now, and I actually think out of any of our players right now, I really do believe Eze's the game changer, which is why we signed him. So
yeah, man. I mean, Just Tom said, whoa, buddy. Jesus will go for a packet of crisps. I mean,
not in the Serie A. Not the Serie A. Love that sort of striker, man. Dzeko was going.
They do. Do you know what?
Is his mid-30s going for like 15 mil?
Well, yeah, I had to eat my words when I tweeted about him coming on against Sporting because he was one of our best players at the time. I was like, oh my God, rolling back the years.
He was good against Bournemouth off the bench as well.
Yeah, man. And All the Sevens says, have you guys seen the Gooniverse podcast? James looks like Zippy and Shorey looks like Marino. Yeah, I've been on the Gooniverse podcast, All the Sevens. I think I was on the second ever Gooniverse podcast, which was a horrible experience. Not because of James. I absolutely love James and Shorey. Big up those guys. Honestly, two of the nicest people you could ever meet. But James texted me, and I was on a run with my dog, and it was lashing down. Like, the weather was horrendous, torrential rain. And as I'm running, my headphones went off, text message, and I was like, oh, okay, who's that? Check, it's James B. So I was like, oh, okay, what's James one? Mate, are you free in 15 minutes to get on the podcast? So, oh, yeah. So I had to sprint my absolute fastest with my dog, who's essentially trying to pull me over, got back in, had to dry my hair with a towel, sat down, kind of ready. And as we were going live, my dog jumped up on my lap, and I was not prepared for it at all. And poor Laura Kirk was on it, and she must have been thinking, who is this bloke? Like, who is this guy? I've never seen any of his content. I've never seen, but obviously James is now on TDK Plus. I don't know if you know All the Sevens. Like, obviously I do quite a bit of work with TDK Plus. So, yeah, that's kind of how I know all those guys, but they're lovely. They are lovely blokes. They've been on this channel as well. We need to get them back on. We need a debate with them about something, Reese. I don't know what, but maybe how much we can sell Jesus for.
Is Havertz a good signing? I'll defend him again. I don't care.
I wonder what they would say. I think James is more on the train of the bad side.
I know exactly what James thinks.
I don't know what Shiroi would say. I think overall, it's such a hard thing. I don't think.
Maybe he has been bad. I was saying this the other day. Like, everything is so contextualized with me. Like, I look at like every attacker with side and go, yeah, Havertz hasn't actually been that bad. Like, there's been moments he's been our best player, but for the money paid, like for the fee, is it worth it? Like, was he supposed to be an attacker? No. Did we sign him as this Saka replacement, which made absolutely no sense? Like, that is a fair criticism. I still like the justification is fine because he's been able to like rotate him into a different position, but like, you know, I don't think, like, even now, like years later, I still don't really get it. Like, I still didn't understand what they're so different players. He's more of like a roamer in midfield as well, for a team that has to have the ball a lot for it to work, like we are. For a guy that like runs around and kind of like sneaks around the pitch, you don't see him. As a midfielder,
I've got this idea of Kai Havertz with a little mask on.
Dude, but it's like in striker, it's so good because he'll just pop up in other places. You're like, oh, okay, and then like he'll just make sneaky runs in. But in midfield, you're like, where's our midfielder? where he's got, and he's like in right wing, and it's like, well, I don't, like, mate, you need to get inside a bit. I don't know, like, and I've always thought
if you could come over here and help with some build up, that would be lovely. Is that too much to ask? No,
I've always thought this, like, even watching Havertz now, like when we tried to, there's been some games he's been okay in midfield, but I watch him now and I'm like, he just isn't a midfielder. Like he's just not anymore. Maybe like back in the day.
It's so hard because I think really he's one of these players that almost has missed his era. Like I think he would have been great in like a 4-4-2 system, that type of like because he's not an attacking midfielder. He's not a winger, although like for Leverkusen, I think he was out on the right quite often and stuff. And he's not like a real striker. So you just go, like he's almost, he's a victim of being kind of good at certain things, but not a real specialist at everything. It's like, if you look at Eze, you just go, well, I know you're brilliant at. So I think I could play
if you had like a whole team of injured players, if Arsenal had no player in the squad, but just had Ødegaard and Havertz, we would probably like be okay. Like not like winning games, but we'd be okay. If any other player was in the squad, like say we put a Saka in 11 positions on the pitch, it'd probably be okay. Actually, that's a bad example. But like say we put like anyone else in every position in 11 positions, we wouldn't be anywhere near competitive. I think because Havertz and Ødegaard are just not. Like Ødegaard used to be a bit of a specialist, but he's always been a bit of an all-rounder, and that's why he's never been a 10. I hate the comparisons to Bruno. I hated it. Even when Ødegaard was the best 10 in the country, he still wasn't a 10. Like he was playing like a 10 and really good at it, but you could just tell by the way he does things, he's just not a natural 10. He never has been. Like he's completely been the best. He was really good at Hervina. It's because when he was on loan, it's because they didn't play him like a 10. And he is more of an 8, and like watching him loads, it is clear. But
I'd love to see him in Serie A.
I'd
like to see Ødegaard in Serie A.
That's the thing with the thing is, I think my frustration with Ødegaard in the last 2 years has been apparent. I've made like a lot of videos being like, I just don't think he's been good enough. He is frustrating. But then I really think about it when I actually just sit there and I go like, this guy's done so much. Like his first goal when he scored against Tottenham, I remember it was in COVID. I was in my uni flat. You know, we were like, everyone was like, uni in COVID. Like if you did experience it, you did experience it. But it was like living in prison. You like had to sneak to each other's flats and like you could, more than 6 people in it. I don't know. There was just so many rules and regulations around like seeing your friends who lived in the same building. It was insane. And I remember I watched that game with like a couple of my mates in one of my mates' flats, and he scored, and I was just like, oh my god, it's Ødegaard's first goal. Took that nasty little deflection, and I just like I don't know. Ødegaard's really grown a lot at the club, and I feel like we did give him his first real home, other than because he 15 years old, getting thrown in at Real Madrid and stuff, and then not ever playing, and then getting sold false lies by Ancelotti and Real Madrid. Not the only player to be sold false lies by them. They do it to everyone. But like I just look at that and just go like I feel bad. Like I feel bad. This is where the things are, and I just want him to win something as well for us, and like. I just want these players to win something. Like they annoy me so much right now. But just
I think that's something I would love us to win the league and Ødegaard to leave on a high.
Yeah.
Like what a story to go. Do you know, because that would take away regardless if, like, so for example, all the 7s put here, like, I don't like Havertz. Like, there are going to be people that don't like Ødegaard, and I'm not a massive fan of him. I don't hate him. I appreciate what he does, but he's just not what, like you say, he's not a 10. So for me, I look and I get frustrated because I'm like, you're not a 10. You're not doing what I want you to do. And maybe that's something to do with Arteta, but like, if we won the league and he left, I think then undeniably everyone would go, do you know what? What a signing for the money he came in and the position we were in. And he went and became captain and he got us up the league and he helped revolutionize like the way that we play, the way that we press, like what the team demands of all of its players. And I think he's not, and again, like he's not my type of captain. There's less of those these days because I'm like a fossil. But I look at him and go, well, yeah, you demanded that of everyone. You led from the front line and went, I am running until I can't run anymore. And that's how you lot have to play. And I think, yeah, if he left, then everyone just look at him and go, yeah, cool. Great servant to the club. And we can look back fondly at him. I just worry if we don't win and then he hangs on more and more, I think people get more and more annoyed with him.
Yeah.
It's such a weird
it's the same with Arteta to an extent. Like I just want these players and this manager to win because at the end of the day, they do deserve it. The position that they've put us in consistently over the last couple of years deserves the trophy. Arteta is 100 times a better manager than Arne Slot. I do not care. But Arne Slot has a Premier League title and he doesn't. And that is just the margins and the differences that happen. And I'm not going to act like he's innocent. Arteta has made a lot of mistakes, a lot of things. But sometimes these mistakes don't actually affect you not winning the league. Like in other years when teams have made big mistakes and managing mistakes, they've still been okay. But every time you make a mistake, it just seems massive and the team just collapses. And there's so many players within this club, exactly what you said, that I just want to be remembered fondly because right now, especially over the last couple of years, people talk about Ødegaard like he was never good. Ødegaard scored 15 non-penalty goals from midfield, like as a guy that isn't even like a pure attacker midfielder in an incredible 22-23 season. People will be like, yeah, but he didn't win anything. But that doesn't take away from his individual performances. Before that, we were giving Player of the Season awards to people like Lacazette because he scored 18 goals and ran around a lot. Like, no disrespect to Lacazette. He was good that season. He got Player of the Season. But like, he didn't score loads of goals. He was just like a very hard worker and determined.
I mean, the bar was pretty low at that point, wasn't it?
And the bar was low. Like the bar was very low, and that's why when I look, Ødegaard won our Player of the Season. I think he's won it twice, maybe, but he's won it by consistently good performances and being good and being there and working hard. The same with Saka. Like Saka's last 3 games, like all season, he's been up and down, but there's been games where he's been amazing. The last 3 games have been awful, and then people have been like going on to it, but. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I forgot that Liam Brasilia got sacked. That's it.
Oh, no, mate. I'm quite disappointed.
I am.
I quite... Do you know what? Because at the beginning, I was like, oh, my God, this guy's a numpty. Like, I can't listen to this. But then it, like, really grew on me because I was like, oh, maybe he's, like, playing this character. Maybe this isn't him... You know, like some people are saying, oh, it's like he's got a manager's, like a manager's guide for idiots, and he's just reading stuff. But then I was like, oh, maybe he's just gone, do you know what? Chelsea aren't going to win anything. I'm going to be without of a job in, 6 months. I might as well just have some fun with this. And then they're all in a group chat, him and his mates, like, oh, Liam, you need to say this. Go on, see if you can get this in an interview. And he's saying it. I feel like that's what's going on. He had the biggest laugh. Out of everyone.
He ended up wrestling kayfabe. He didn't break kayfabe. He's keeping it real. I just feel I genuinely think that we actually just watched a man come in with so much hope and like just so much like passion, and it get completely crushed in a couple of months. And I genuinely, like, I just psychologically, like, watching him from when he joined to, like, the week he got sacked, I was like, man, I actually, because, like, I know, I had one conversation with Liam Rosinha when I was, like, 18, but, like, I just feel like, I feel so bad for him because I know that he was, like, trying to do the right thing, but he was just focusing on the wrong things. He was trying to do, like, this whole principle thing, the whole Arteta principle thing, and it just didn't work. And to, like, move that on to Arteta a bit, I don't know if you've seen it, but have you seen the clip from James's podcast, James Allcott, where he had all the Arsenal guys on there, and James B spoke about Arteta, and I've seen a lot of people talk about that clip because when I saw that by James, I was like, I agree, and I do agree. I think James is right, and
that was a really good video, actually.
And a lot of people don't get it. They're like, "Oh, you're top of the league," and you don't. But that's not the point that James is trying to make. The point is that the messaging in press conferences and online is different to what we are seeing on the pitch, and that disconnect from the fans and the players matters when we go to the stadium and people are like, "Well, the atmosphere is not good." Yeah, well, when you come out and you can't kick a ball for the first 5 minutes, they're going to be like, I've got my packed lunch here that you told me to bring. Where's the energy? and it's so true. And I do want to say that I have always criticized Arteta's use of press conferences. I think out of all the things I love about Arteta, it's near the bottom. I think he is sometimes a bit like Pep, and he's funny and he's sincere, and you can have a joke with him.
I think he's got worse. I think at the beginning he was really good.
I think the biggest issue I have with all of it is that I hate secrets. Like people being like secretive. I hate that. I get why
Yeah.
people will say, oh, yeah, but he wants to make sure that the other managers guess it. I'm sorry. That is a cop out. Like anyone who works in football, that might be a little bit of a detail, but it's just not that important.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is, don't get me. Like if a Declan Rice is not in the team in a year, that is a big thing. But we're talking about Saka, who's been out for 4 weeks, and you're like, oh, he might be in the squad. Like I am so happy this week he was honest about he thinks that, because sometimes you don't know. Sometimes you don't know a training. You've got to see training tomorrow. I get that. That's
Yep.
completely valid. But he was so honest, and Ben was like, Timber's not going to be available, and Calafiori and Saka are probably going to be available. And that's what I want. I don't want to see Hand of Arsenal tweeting a day and a half before, oh, this guy might be available. This guy's going to be in the squad for tomorrow. Why? Why are we getting it through a leaker? The manager should tell us. Screw all the other fans and more importantly, the other managers from other teams. Focus on your fan base and your team.
Especially in the situation we're in right now, because confidence is on the floor. You know, everyone's, and if you want everyone to get behind you, just little things like that. Just give us some transparency. Like we really, really miss it. And like you said, I think there wasn't there on that game as well? Like you said about, you know, bring your lunches and stuff. And then so Arteta then goes to the crowd, oh, calm down, everyone, calm down. And then at halftime, it's like, everyone get to your seats, go, like, get you. And it's like, Jesus, would you make up your minds, guys? Because you're playing the slowest tempo ever as well. And then we go like 1-0 down. So you think, oh, get behind the boys. Everyone does. Yeah, come on, let's go. No, don't do that. Like, it's mad. Like, there is a real problem with mixed messaging. And I think we've had it before in terms of transfers. We've had him say, I think James actually said this as well. James said about Charles Watts asked Arteta a question. You know, we're not currently scoring goals. You know, is there a problem? Well, we've scored more goals than anyone else in over calendar year and blah, blah, blah. A couple of weeks later, oh, no, we need to get a striker. And it's like, well, which one is it then? Yeah. And I think sometimes he almost gets on the defensive. He sees it as like the reporters and everyone are questioning him. Where it's more like, no, it's just a question especially for the fans. Like, that's just what everyone wants to know. And if he just came out and went, yeah, we know there's a few issues. Like, and right now we're not thinking about addressing it in the market. I can understand that, because you could say, I'm not addressing it in the market. We're not thinking about that because I think internally we have got the solutions. We've got Mikel Marino, who's done really well. We've got Kai Havertz. We've got Jesus, who's got we've got Bukayo Saka, who's had incredible seasons. We've got solutions, and we'll deal with it, whether that's with personnel here or, you know, tweaking how we're attacking. And, you know, if you just said that, cool. I wouldn't expect him to come out and go, well, yeah, we're going to go buy Gyökeres in the summer. But just give us a little bit. Yeah. Just sometimes a little drop of hope.
It's transparency. Nice. And like, I don't know if it's because just genuinely in life, I feel like transparency is a better feature. Like I look at everything. I look at how companies are run. I remember when Football Manager came out and be like, we're going to be more transparent. And then didn't say anything for a year, then cancelled their game and then didn't say anything for 6 months. Do you know,
that was nuts, wasn't it?
Well, apparently this year when the game released, they were like, oh, World Cup mode's going to be coming. Well, they haven't said anything. The World Cup starts in a month and a half. So where is it? And it's like, this transparency is like, I get it's difficult in some moments to be transparent when you don't actually know. And that's fair. I'm not asking all the time. But when I make content, when I do things in my life, the things that I focus on are even the people that I'm doing it for. So my friends, family, or like the Arsenal fans who are watching it. I will say in my Arsenal videos, maybe I'll go a bit crazy and say something like, oh, this Man City player's bad or whatever. But I'll obviously say it if I believe it. But, you know, it's because I'm catering towards the audience that I care about. I know that these people, it matters to them, like what I say, and it matters what I break down. You know, when I do Man City videos, I'm not going to start going on about Declan Rice or like going on about Arsenal stuff, because
you should do that though. That would be quite humorous. I'd appreciate that.
Definitely, that would do very well for me. But like the point of it is like cater my things that I do to the audience that it's for, and then everyone else who's going to consume it can make their own judgments and depend on it. You know, tweeting is very much like it. I tweet a lot of the time about Arsenal. I'm like, oh, this player, like I'm looking at this player. Sometimes I don't tweet about players for Arsenal, but I go, oh, this player for Arsenal and stuff. And people from other fan bases might look at it and go, whoa, that's crazy. Like they have, but like I don't care. Like, it's not for them at the end of the day. It's for the Arsenal fans because they're the ones that I actually care about in this situation. I'm talking about to Arsenal fans. Like, and it's like the same with your press conference. I get it. It's a worldwide thing, but the only real people that watch Arteta's press conference is going to be journalists and Arsenal fans. Like,
Arsenal fans.
like, you know, maybe you'll see a clip and everyone will meme him for it, if it goes viral. But like Chelsea fans are going to sit there and go, oh, let's go and watch this Arteta press conference. It's just not for them, and it shouldn't be. And like, and that's the thing. Stop catering and stop worrying. And Arsenal fans also do this a lot, where people worry about a lot of other fans think about them and stuff. And it's just like, I get it. I do get it. It's so consuming, especially being on the internet all the time, being an Arsenal fan. Like, Arsenal fans are very snappy online all the time, but I do think it is because the amount of just random stuff they get. Like, I will be having a good day, like jolling around, go on Twitter, and then someone will just say something like awful about an Arsenal player, and my mood's chalked. It's gone, Dad. It's like I'm not replying and commenting because it's just not my place. But like, I'm just like, I get it. It's so like, sometimes I'm just like, oh yeah, I know. And it just becomes a big civil war in itself, and it's difficult. And you people arguing with other fans. It's like, I get it, but who cares? Like, at the end of the day, like, you know, we're in this situation. Let's accept it. I'm glad he's being more honest. I want a more honest Arteta. I'm glad he played Eze last week and Ødegaard. Eze and Ødegaard have only started 4 Premier League games this season, I think. Maybe 5. It's 4 or 5 games together this season. And in every game, barring maybe the West Ham one where Ødegaard came off injured, they won't play in midfield, they've been very good. They've got this weird connection with each other. We should continue to do it.
No, 100% agree with that. And isn't it nice? Like, if we get Calafiori back, Saka back, I think suddenly the fan base lifts. I think everyone goes, oh, you know what? Especially because people like us are going to put out content going, the way Arsenal completely changed their season, problem solved, you know, like, and like, oh, look, Calafiori helps with our build up.
And it would just be like, because we ran a bit more. But like, I think the thing is, at the start of the City game, we ran at them. If we play Newcastle tomorrow, I would be watching back. I'll be watching back the 23-24 season.
Well recovered.
I covered that one. I'll be watching back the 23-24 season where we played them at home and literally just showing them the first 10 minutes of that game. Arsenal ran at Newcastle. We just ran at them. We didn't give it any time. If we do that, the energy in the stadium will be so much better. I am assured of the game, and people can stop crying about the fans not shouting or whatever. If they just run in the first 15 minutes, I think everyone will be so much happier. And I think
100%.
We've had a week off. I think the week off's been nice for everyone. Hopefully, it didn't matter when we had like 3 weeks off for international break, but I guess people still played. They've had a whole week off when no one's played. Just hopefully, like, then we've got Atleti where we really can win. It's a big week. Like, I'm excited. I'm excited to finally see us play again because I thought we were good against Man City. So if we play like that again, I'm sure that we would beat a team that aren't as good as City.
Yeah, 100%, mate. And right now, the ball's in our court. Like, as much as everyone is, it's in our court. At the end of the day, all we have to do is just go out and try to win. Like, just win each game. It's not like there's 20 games to go and we're in that situation. Just go, right. We're still in it. As mad as that is, that, yeah, we went to the Etihad, we lost. Yes, we haven't been on our best form. We are still in it regardless. So, you know, even with that, horrendous form, we're top of the table. Like, we're there. Like, we're right there.
It's actually insane. Same points, same goal difference with 5 games left. Like,
and we're all going, and then City fans are like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, and we do have, like, we do have the easier games technically in terms of like league positions, but I don't know, man. I'll still play it. I've said it doesn't matter who we play because we're the same. We're stupid against everyone, like, or really good against them. It just doesn't matter who we play at this point. We just need to be with the person defeating us as ourselves right now. We just need to be better and just do it. And I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. The Champions League semi-final as well. It's like, I don't know. I'm actually so excited to play Athletic. I really do think. Like, I saw a tweet being like, "Oh, look at all these front threes. Like, oh, which ones? Arsenal's one's odd one out." I'm like, well, realistically, if anyone still thinks Griezmann's that good at this age, I mean, you just don't watch him enough because he isn't. And like, okay, fair enough. Yeah, our attack is probably worse than all of their attacks. Okay, let's go defender for defender. Oh, and then we get to Atletico Madrid. Who's this? Oh, Longley, what's he doing here? Oh, what's this? Lenormandie, what's he doing here? It's like these guys suck. These guys suck, man. Like it's not having it.
Mate, let's go through the two games because you've got Newcastle first at home. Score for you? What do you reckon?
I'm really.
Are you confident?
I'm actually confident. I'm more confident in this game than the Bournemouth and City game, and it's because we had a better performance last week. I think just Havertz, Eze, and Ødegaard in the team give us a chance, and I just think Newcastle are playing awful. So
yeah,
really
I do. I just hope we send a message.
Wait, no, but that's the thing.
I'm gonna have to bring that up as a bingo on this now for myself, aren't I?
Goal difference matters, though. Goal difference matters. Like we have to go out. It
actually does.
Yeah, like we have.
It was funny, with Burnley and that 1-0. I was like, oh mate, I feel all right about this. 1-0. Like they've played well and they've only scored one goal. But then someone said to me, yeah, but you know that they only lost by one goal and you lost by one goal as well against City. I was like, don't say that. Don't do that to me.
When we play Burnley
on the same level as Burnley.
When we play Burnley at home, I want to see a midfield of Miles Lewis-Skelly, Eze, Ødegaard, and then I also want to play Trossard, Martin, Saka, Havertz, and then we might as well play Martinelli and left back just for some added attack. We're just seven.
Yeah, let's just go for it.
Do a 3-7.
Max Dowan playing centre back. Let's do this.
Yeah. You know what? We've got to go for it. Like. That would be so funny to see if we get to that point and goal difference is still like prevalent and we're playing Burnley at home. Like to see our Arsenal panic from minute one and be like, we need goals, and not be like, let's pass it around for 80 minutes. It's like we actually need to go for it, guys.
That's a crazy thing, isn't it? Though, like at Palace, it could be 10 minutes to go, and both teams are like within a goal of each other in goal difference. Like, that is going to be mad scenes.
Do you know the last game of the season is going to be so weird because Villa will be 3 days off of just playing a Europa League final, and then Palace probably will be 3 days away from a Conference League final. So it's like, will they even care? Like, will Palace even care? Like, will Villa even care? Like, I don't know, because Villa are playing City, so it's like, they might, both teams.
I mean, they're going to roll over for City. Like,
they always
Emery
do. You know, Emery hates us. He is spited his body. He actually does. Some Villa fan was like, they were talking about it on Twitter the other day, and they were like, "Oh, I don't know." Like, you know, Emery actually does hate us. He always hates us. Anything he can do to like get against us. It's so true.
I think after the parade, okay, that's the first stop. We go up to Birmingham. Up to Villa Park, just parade around his office, and then back down to London. That's the plan. That's the plan. I mean, we have got this from Just Tom. I remember Reece being confident previous weeks, like Brentford.
Well,
I mean,
yeah, I did. Yeah. Yeah, the Brentford game was pretty bad. Can't lie.
Thanks, Tom. I'm not confident. I am confident that we will see an okay performance. I mean, that's as far as my positivity goes. Like, it would just be so Arsenal to go and lose now, wouldn't it? But then at the same time, I was hoping that, because you imagine if City lost against Burnley after that whole thing, I would have loved it. the whole media narrative just comes crashing down. Like Arsenal they're done and stuff, and then they sort of lose against Burnley. I mean, it didn't happen, but I would have loved
I
that.
hope Bournemouth just run at City when they play them.
I have a horrible feeling it's going to be a draw. I have a horrible feeling. You are right though. We have got to come out the gates quickly. Like we've got to just come out the gates quickly, so then the crowd can get behind us, and then I think that sets the tone. This current team are in this kind of, I don't know, like when you're playing Chelsea did it. Do you remember when Chelsea played us and then they really tried to play a defensive game and then they brought Palmer on later on and they were like, oh, we're trying to flip up the tempo, and they just couldn't do it. I feel that we're in that situation, but for a long period of games. And it's just go out the traps quick. So then the tempo is up. And then it's that case of that's how we're playing now. Like, a really good example of how you describe a football match in tempo is it sounds like music. Do you remember Klopp said his Dortmund team played heavy metal? Like when you hear players actually passing, there is actually like a real tempo. There's like this noise and it goes off. It's constant because there's a rhythm to the game. And that has got to be it's got to be like a double pedal, double bass going off. We've got to have that, not this like slow, laborious, we can't have that. Because I worry we'll just get stuck into that and we'll be unable to break down Newcastle. But I just worry it's going to be a draw.
Yeah, I'm kind of at the point where like if we don't win this game, it's our own fault. Like I have no sympathy. Like I kind of felt this for a while. Like it's like they are there for the taking. I mean, how many times I've said that at so many teams, but like I just think we've got the blueprint last week as well. So if you start straight, I get he's going to be looking at the Athletic game, and I understand that, but you don't need to stray too far away from the blueprint of like what we did against them.
It's now a negative indicator for me if Reece is very confident. I love that. Oh, on the other hand, it's a positive indicator if Ford is feeling negative about an upcoming game. Yeah.
I mean, look, they got Mr. Flat. They got Mr. Flatman in goal. Like, I should say, I like Ramsdale a lot, but yeah. I mean, they got Ramsdale in goal. Ramsdale versus Raya. We haven't done this in a while. Like,
that's true.
Yeah.
Oh, I like that little understory. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, Havertz versus Osalu. Yeah, another one there. Big story.
All the sevens are saying we need to get a goal early. No need to make it a nervy game and trying to get a goal at the very end. Yeah, like it's really interesting, isn't it? Because I think Arteta, I was looking at the stats between Arteta and Pep and the amount of goals that we've scored in the last 10 minutes of games and the amount of our subs that score goals. Like he's hardly got any, but I think that's almost because we put ourselves in a position where we have to do that. Whereas Pep quite often takes players off and is like, yeah, chill now. You've got half an hour to just relax, essentially, because we're already 3 goals up. Like it's such a different way of playing.
I hope that I hope we just target Trippier with his 600 families he has. Let's just target Trippier over and over again. As a left wing, just run at him every time.
Yeah, that's a really good shout. Arsenal play like slowed reverb version of kids shouting at a party. You're not wrong there, mate. Team for this game. Bearing in mind, Calafiori and Saka are going to be fit. Would you start either of them?
I would probably consider starting Calafiori.
I'm tempted on that as well.
Because I'd rather just play Hincapié against Atleti and Calafiori in the Prem. Like I'd rather Calafiori play against Fulham as well, and then Hincapié play the next game against Atleti. I don't know. I just like that a bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
I think if Calafiori's fit, because the thing is, I just don't know how fit Calafiori is. Maybe he's fit. With Saka,
I don't think he ever knows.
No, I don't think that. Well, that's the thing, because like he's the guy that, because he's injured for like such small amount, like they're not small amount of time. Sometimes this has been a bit long, but he's usually injured for like a couple of weeks all the time. That it's like he doesn't really get, like when we talk about players coming back and getting up to sharpness, Calafiori never has that. He literally comes back and some, well, other than when he had that big injury earlier in the season, he came back and like Jan was awful for like, but like other than that, he usually looks okay when he comes back because he just has so many times off. So. I don't know. Maybe I'd play Calafiori. Probably, if not, if the risk is too much, just play in Cap. Yeah, and then you can play Calafiori the week.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it goes back to that kind of setting the tempo. I think he's so chaotic that he just, for the fans, would go, oh, yeah, let's get behind him. Because he drives the team forward. And whether or not, we need that at certain periods, I do think that does make a difference. Where Saka is, as much as I love him, I worry about putting him straight in. And a lot of the time, 90% of the time, he does the thing that he should do. But sometimes we're like, no, don't do that. Don't pass it inside. Don't just go down the line. Take on your man. But really, it is the right thing to do, as we've seen with having Madueke trying to take on his man over and over again and running it out of play. Back four. Mosquera keeps his place on right back.
I thought obviously that was like the one position I got wrong against City. I thought he'd put Ben White, but he didn't, and now I just think,
that's one of the ones I got right.
Yeah, you did. I mean, I technically got Madueke wrong, but I didn't know if Madueke was fit, and I was like, well, if he's fit, he'll probably play, but if he's not, then he won't. And but Mosquera is like, I guess he's just gonna start now. Like, I think he will start in this game.
So.
Like, I just don't. If you didn't trust Ben White against City, I don't think he's gonna trust him against Newcastle. Like, I don't know if I love Mosquera and Hincapie's like partnership, like as a fullback team, but like it is what we have to deal with. Mosquera's fine. It's fine. It shouldn't be we've got enough progression in the team if we pick the rest of the team and enough attacking work where I'm like, okay, it's not as bad as it was before. So.
Yeah. Well, let's go through this because all the sevens put a little lineup in. So let's have a look. So Mosquera, Sleeper, and Gabriel.
Yeah.
I think that's what we'll do. Calafiori, like we kind of said about that in agreement. I think if he's fit enough. Rice, Zubimendi, and then I presume Ødegaard as the midfield three.
I'd probably play Zubimendi just because he's had a week off. If it was a game 3 days ago, I probably wouldn't. I don't know.
You've got till Wednesday.
But I just don't think. Like, I look at the opponents.
I think I would.
Yeah, I just don't think I'd play Miles against Newcastle. I just don't think that's a fun team for him to play.
No, and I don't think just a midfield three of Rice, Eze, and Ødegaard for this one. Maybe I don't mind that against Fulham.
Maybe if you think, I don't know, like Newcastle maybe are worse than Fulham. It's just hard because I look at their team and I'm like, their midfield is really good still. Like Tonali, Guimaraes, and Miley's like a good midfield. They have got runners. Like if they're going to play Barnes and Alanga, that is runners in behind.
Yeah.
But it's like they are just so bad right now. Like I've watched Newcastle quite a bit recently. I watched them 7-2 against Barcelona. I was like, what are they doing? I've watched them a lot and they're just a mess. And it's like, but then they did beat Chelsea.
Really weren't like a normal Newcastle side in that. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, they've just been so inconsistent. They did beat Chelsea at Stamford Bridge, and
But then Chelsea have been horrendous themselves.
Yeah, Chelsea are bad. They exploited their block inside. That's the thing. They're going to try and play it inside, I think, in certain moments. So, I don't know. I'm just worried. I think you just do play Zubimendi, and I think he will, more importantly. But I just think I'm really worried about Zubimendi because maybe he'll be good, maybe he'll be bad. I just don't know with him. He's so weird. Like, he needs to try things. If Newcastle are going to sit in a deeper block and he's like scared to do a pass and he can't do it, then there's no point of him being on the pitch. Like,
yeah. And then we got Eze out on the left, Madueke on the right, and Havertz. Like for me, I think Eze, I'm happy with Eze out on the left again. Havertz in the middle, I think as much as he missed those chances, I think he has to. And Madueke on the right, wild call here. I wanted Martinelli to start on the right against City, and I think that would have been the right call. I think he proved that when he came on. I don't know about against Newcastle. and I am just going to say a left field shout here because right now I'm just not happy with Madueke's performances at all. I don't think he's been good in recent weeks. I genuinely think Max Dowman, just put him in. He is an unbelievable talent. And I just think you have got enough players there with so much experience. I just think right now, just put him in. I don't think Saka's going to be fit enough to start him. And I would never, ever say this. Maybe like even Wild Shout as well, Trossard. That cross from Trossard at the end, by the way, of that City game was unbelievable. It was so good. But yeah, for me, right now, because I haven't even thought about the lineup prior to this pod, just so everyone's aware, I was actually asleep tonight. So Reece is usually the nocturnal one. I fell asleep and then I had to wake up and go, quick, let's go on the pod. Is that just mental putting Max down in? No, Barca would do it. Put Max down in.
This justification of Barca would do it every time. Why does everyone?
But then Barca are Barca, and look at the teams they're playing against.
Barca's like average league games against like Osasuna,
exactly.
Who just sit in a low block and don't move, I don't know. Man.
I'm putting Max Dowman in. Don't try to change my mind.
Okay,
almost 40 years old. I can.
Max Dowman would definitely not play, and I'm definitely not.
No, I know he won't, but that's what I would do.
I don't think Madueke starts. I think because he came off at halftime. I think the frustrations were really there. Like he just wasn't good enough, and I just don't think Arteta's the sort of guy to be like, yeah, let's play him again. Other than when it's Jokerized, but that's it because he kind of has to. Like when he was the only striker fit. Like I don't think he's going to do that. I think Madueke is going to come out of the team. I just have a feeling he's going to start Saka. Like, I just think he will. Because every time Saka comes back from fitness, how many times is Saka actually on the bench? Not a lot. But I would probably start
I agree with you. If he's fit, he plays, doesn't he?
I would start Martinelli on the right, personally. I would do that.
Would you?
I would just be like, let's deal with it. I don't think he played. Like, I know Max was like pretty good against Newcastle. Like, he played against Newcastle in pre-season, but like, he ain't gonna play him against it. I don't even think he comes on because he ain't gonna come on against like Newcastle are kickers. They're just gonna kick us. They're one of the most aggressive teams in the league. He's not gonna bring a 16-year-old on when he's just gonna get kicked. Like, at least Joel Linton's.
Well, that's where he's going wrong, Reece. He needs me on the coaching staff telling him.
But also,
put Max in.
Max also isn't great out of possession, so like, and he won't risk that. He won't risk that. That's why I just think Martinelli's a safe bet. But I don't know. I have a feeling Saka might just play. I don't know.
Yeah, you're probably right. I reckon Saka is going to play.
Yeah, and it'd be interesting to see what
he's gonna play.
It'd be interesting to see what he does against Atleti. Maybe just goes like, yeah, Trossard. Who cares? Like, I'd rather play Max Dowman in that game, to be honest, because I know there'll be more space against Atleti.
Yeah.
You know,
I wouldn't be surprised if we do see Max in that game at some point.
Yeah, I think he could come on.
Maybe the second leg as well.
We've got literally a fit team other than Timber.
Yeah.
No, we can't have any complaints. Well, and Marino. Nice. And Marino. I forgot about Marino. But it's like we can't really complain too much. Everyone's fit other than two players. Like, you know, we've got three strikers, we've got three right wingers. Like, when have we had this luxury? And they might not all be amazing, but like, we've got options at least.
Yeah, it's mad to think. Like I say, like what was it? 12 different front fours in 14 Premier League matches this calendar year. Like, and that's not because he's tinkering. That's just because of that necessity.
Yeah. That's the problem, isn't it? Like, all of these changes are enforced changes. Man City change their team all the time, but it's by like design, so it's fine. They're used to it. We're just not made out for that. And yeah, when you're forced into constant changes all the time, it's like maybe you should just like, I don't know, rotate the team more.
Yeah. Oh, there's an idea. There's an idea, mate.
Risks.
I mean, we won't talk, actually. We won't have the pod before the Atleti game. So, Atletico Madrid, are you keeping the same team or are you changing anything in principle? So you talked about if Calafiori plays against Newcastle or vice versa with Atleti, kind of rotating him and Hincapié.
Yeah, Yeah, I like Hincapié against Atleti. I've actually watched quite a lot of Atleti just because I think they're a fascinating team. I just think how they play is so weird. Like they play structured, but then like they don't. They play structured in defensive areas and they just go,
Yeah.
I don't know, just run at them, I guess. In attacking areas. They are so bad with the ball, though. I've watched them quite a bit recently. And they really are bad with the ball. They're worse than us at points. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, if anyone watched the Sunderland game today, the first 20 minutes, I was like, whoa, we're getting like, this is like a worse version of us. They can't kick, they genuinely can't make 2 passes. I was like, it's like us.
No, it's mad, isn't it?
I think I probably would keep the same sort of team. I would maybe you can consider putting more runners. I definitely would start Martinelli against Atletico.
I do wonder if you pull out Ødegaard and put Eze in the 10.
Yeah.
And then play like Martinelli out on the left.
Yeah.
Like in Europe, do you know what I mean? It's
the problem is if like Martinelli plays, then I'm like, oh, I don't want Gyökeres to play with him, and then it's like, well, Havertz can't play all the time, so it's like Gyökeres is gonna have to play. Like maybe we just, maybe just play Jesus. I don't know. I don't know. Nah, we'll play probably.
No.
I would imagine Gyökeres. If Gyökeres starts tomorrow, I'm gonna be like, okay, this. Maybe it'll be fine with Ødegaard and Eze if they both start, but I'm like, this would be weird if I see.
You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if Gyökeres does start in Europe.
Yeah, I think that's more likely because especially Havertz always plays against Newcastle, like every time. Like I think he's just gonna be like, yeah, I don't know. I do get a little bit of PTSD from when Havertz missed all them chances in the Carabao Cup semis against Newcastle. So let's hope that doesn't happen again.
Maybe Gyökeres, random thought, maybe Gyökeres finishes the season for us because we got those West Ham and Burnley games, and that to me is like bread and butter, like cannon fodder.
West Ham are good, man. Burnley are the only bad team we're playing.
You say West Ham are good, but I mean in relativity, like where they are in the league.
Yeah, but form-wise, they're like better than like. The form is way more important than league table position. Like that's what I'm saying.
To an extent, yeah.
Chelsea are technically the worst team in the league right now. Newcastle are the second, or Burnley are the second. And then it's Newcastle. That's why I'm saying we've got to beat Newcastle. Their best players are not in the squad. Their teams are awful form. Like it's just awful. Like to watch. Like that's why we were playing Bournemouth at a bad time. Bournemouth are bad to play now because they're on such incredible form. And then even though they draw a lot, they don't lose. Like I don't know. Like West Ham actually are good. If anyone's watched them, I've watched them a lot recently. They're actually playing well. Like even the games they're not winning. They lost to Villa and got well unlucky. They drew to United because of a last minute goal. Like they've like just been so unlucky in some of their games, and they've been pretty dominant. I'm scared. We play West Ham away. Like Havertz has to play that game. Also, Havertz always plays against West Ham as well. He scored a couple of goals against them. I don't know. Yeah, this has to happen.
Before we finish, random question from all the sevens. Okay, here we go. Favorite banter era player, except for Aubameyang. Who is that? Oh. I mean, there were some bad players. It is hard because I get an affinity to a lot of players because of their success and the success, they bring to your club. I was really excited about Lacazette originally. I was like, oh yes. Like we've been needing someone and we've been linked to him for so long and he came in and he was such a meh player. I was going to say dud, but
the funny thing is I remember being like 16 when Lacazette signed for Arsenal, and I knew he was going to be like not that good. I just knew it at the time because I just was like, this guy scored loads of goals in Ligue 1, and I was like, Ligue 1's crap, and that was all my logic was. Like I was 16, I was all I thought, and then when he came in, he was like okay in that Community Shield game. I think he hit a post or whatever, but I was just like, I was never convinced. I was never convinced before he joined. I don't think I was ever convinced. I think mine, it depends where you count as like banner era fully. Mine is probably Lucas Torreira because I always thought Lucas Torreira was like actually really good, but we just didn't play him in the right role.
I did like his attitude. I mean, I always remember that goal he scored.
I mean, if he was just a sitting six, like I think we would have been fine. But we played him as this box to box, and he's like tiny. I also remember his he scored that like bicycle kick. Was that against Burnley? It was against someone where Aubameyang cheeked up to him and he did like a little bicycle kick from like 4 yards out. And I remember that goal as well. Yeah, he was just fun. He was a passionate dude. I think he was better than what he showed at the club. And like he was good. I do like remember like Danny Ceballos had that one his first loan and he was like okay and then I remember
I remember that dribble he did and everyone's going this is a signing here.
He scored in the last minute against Sheffield United as well in the cup run. I remember like Danny Ceballos being good the first year, but then when he went back, I was like, I don't really want to see him again. Like he was good for that year, but that's okay. And then we got him back on loan again. He was awful, and I was like, what? Like, what's the point? I also liked. Do anyone remember Lucas Perez? Like,
man, he came in my head because he had a really good. He was kind of like the Jamie Vardy of the Spanish league, but never like kind of hit the same height, and without like karate kicking posts and things like that. He had like that he had a real slicked hair as well, didn't he? Do you remember?
He has got to be one of the weirdest Arsenal signings in the last because we signed him on like right at the end of the window, like as a panic buy for like 17 million,
yeah.
And then there was no like idea like to ever play him. No, they never wanted to play him. The club clearly did we bought him as a panic buy, and then within like a week they were like, actually, like I don't even know how many games he started for Arsenal, but it weren't many, like at all. And then he was gone, and I was like, why did we do that? I remember he scored the only goal he scored was against Bournemouth where he came back from 3-0 down to 3-3. And then Giroud was doing his stupid little scorpion kick celebration. It's like, brother, we've just drawn to Bournemouth. I know we've come back, but like still. And then he did it for like the next like 3 weeks every game. I was like, oh my God, man, just give it a ride. But like Lucas Perez scored a really good volley in that game to get us back in that game, and he just didn't celebrate. It's the only goal I think he ever scored for us. Unless he scored in one of the cups, he might have scored in the Carabao.
It's hard because for me, like all the sevens, I think you need to probably put like a year, year to year definition of our banter here. Because I don't know, there's a lot of years. I just kind of look at the end of Wenger's tenure, I guess. It's really hard to put like a real.
I also I also just wasn't the biggest fan of Aubameyang, but he did win us an FA Cup, which obviously means a lot, I guess.
I liked Aubameyang. I think kind of we almost need a player like that in terms of just someone. I mean, he wouldn't work in this team. Don't get me wrong.
I just think I think like he will get remembered way better than like his stats look way better than I think he actually ever was for Arsenal. Like he was.
Can I ask you a question for you? Because I know you very much appreciate Kai Havertz. I'm not going to say you like love Kai Havertz, but for you, Kai Havertz, Olivier Giroud, which one would function best in this team? Let's just say in that City game.
Well, I mean, the setup is like the team setup we have is basically Havertz for Havertz. I'm not a big fan of Giroud. Like, I can't stand him. I don't have I remember as a kid always thinking Giroud was better than what people got him credit for, and I still think that now. Like, how many goals he scored for France, how many like big moments he's been in. He's in his 40s and he's still been like he still plays in the Liga 1. Like he can't do anything. He just scores a couple of pens for Lille here and there, but he's like in his 40s. So I respect that heavily. But like. And like Giroud was one of them fine players. Giroud's actually such a similar situation to Havertz, where he has undeniable qualities that do help the team play and function better, but he's not a great goal scorer. He's not a great finisher. And we knew that for years and never got anyone to basically take that burden off him. We tried to, it never worked. And that was one of the big issues I have with Havertz now. It's like, well, we can cry and complain about Havertz not scoring chances, but I mean, they're not bought any. We know this for 3 years, and you haven't bought anyone else. Havertz has still scored the most goals. Like it's like, and it's like I had that with Giroud. Like I think overall, Giroud was actually better for us than people think. Like he was a consistent goal scorer that was actually like fine. And there was some games where he just turned up, but he had that banger ability of he had the ability to score a screamer or had that X factor moment. And like he doesn't feel like a player that did that, but he did do it. But I remember the Monaco Champions League game like vividly. vividly. I remember that game, and I just don't think I could ever hold him to a high regard. And like the thing is, like I am sure that's how a lot of people look at Havertz. I think now I look at things so like individually technical. I look at things so detailed wise that I don't really look at stuff like that, but I can completely get it. Because I was the exact same when I was younger. When I was looking at like that with Giroud, I was like, it's just so annoying. I'm sure Giroud did loads of other good things for the club, but like Giroud's best era when he was a super sub and we could just cross the ball into it.
Yeah.
Like the goal at Old Trafford when we drew 1-1 was amazing. I loved that goal. He just bulleted it in. I was like, yeah. That's when he was the best. But maybe that's what we should do with Havertz.
I just had to check my years, but yeah, I think, well, probably one of the best players I've seen live, Alexis Sanchez. Like it didn't work out with him, at the end. And the way he left was horrendous, that video. Oh my God. But he was just so good. And he's like the type of player I love. Like when he first came in, it was so obvious he was the level above everyone else. Like just the way he pressed, the way he carried the ball. Like I remember a stat going around about the amount of times he lost possession. And it was like, well, yes, that's because he's the focal point of our team and he is the one risk taker we have. He's able to do that. But like his goals in cup finals, like do you remember the Ozil and him link up?
Yeah.
Like the Chelsea. Oh my God.
That's the thing.
So many.
Like I think now as well, especially with me specifically, but I do think generally people look at things so much with detail. Like I was very young when Sanchez signed. I was actually in Turkey at the time when he signed. And I remember him signing. And I can't remember how old I would have been. I remember like 14. Like I've been young. And I remember that goal he scored against City on one of his first games, where that volley puts in top corner. I remember seeing that goal and I remember watching that and being like, yeah, this guy's quality. Like this guy's great. And by the way, bear in mind at the time, I wasn't watching Arsenal games live. I could not afford it. Like I said in my childhood, I barely watched games live. I didn't get the privilege to do that. So I didn't really get to see all them chances where he let go of the ball when I was young. And so like, for me, like I never really saw that. I just saw the big moments, the big moments that mattered, and that's why I always just thought like this guy's quality. And I don't like now at my age, I'd probably be like, oh, it's different. But his output was just so good, and like there's so many games where he just took the mantle himself. Ozil was better with Sanchez as well, so much better.
Yeah,
and it was just. I don't know. It's just great. I don't think that would work anymore, like with how it is, and you'd have to get someone who's like basically that level, but. I don't know. That was when football was fun. It did kind of feel like I remember, like for a season and a half, being like we are just a one-man team. It did feel like we were a one. I remember a lot of the media narrative we were a one-man team, but we kind of were. He kind of just did everything. He was like a.
But it is one of those things where you're like, well, he is way better than everyone. Platform him, like it's like I mean, bar Ozil, but then Ozil's game is about playing for others. That's the whole point of his game. Like if you were like, we want you to be scoring goals and stuff, like that's not who he is. Yeah. Like he makes players better. But yeah, I think, for me, Alexis Sanchez, I've got a shirt. Do you know what? I got given a shirt. So my brother-in-law is a Spurs season ticket holder. Oh, horrendous. Refused to have. They got rid of the red carpets in the hotel they were getting married at. Like there's like a runner, like refused to get in a red car because it's Arsenal colours. So for their wedding, it was on the same day. Who does this? Same day as my birthday. Disgraceful. So my dad got me a birthday present, which was an Alexis Sanchez Arsenal shirt, and presented it to me on their wedding day, which I always loved my dad for. What a legend. So yeah, that one, when he left, I was like, I've got to get rid of it. And I'm glad I kept it, really, because I look back and I think he is one of the best players I've ever seen at the Emirates. Like, and just someone that just gets you off your feet.
Yeah.
And that's why I love the Eze signing. I think the Eze signing was like at least if he's on the pitch, I might see something nice.
So. I guess technically in our history that is our banter era, but I don't know if I really count like them years as the back, because we were like competitive, like we were like as good as like Liverpool have been this season, like and like Chelsea have been. Well, maybe like, but like we were like top 4 teams still at some of these years. It was more like
Well,
the years
yeah,
after.
because what's it? Hang on, where's it gone now? Oh, I can't find it, guys. It's gone. It's disappeared. Here we go. I think all the sevens put 2017 to 2021.
Yeah, that's more like I left high school in 2017.
So yeah, Sanchez left 2018. Hang on, let me check.
Yeah, like like around then, like
yeah, because we won the FA Cup, didn't we? So yeah.
So like before, as I say, before that, like with Sanchez and stuff, like I think like in that era, like in eras before that, I think like Santi Cazorla was my favorite player ever growing up. I think that guy's incredible. I love that guy on and off the pitch.
I mean, yeah, unbelievable
sound
as
dude.
well.
Like I'd love to. If any footballer I'd ever want to meet, like ever, it'd be Santi Cazorla is like high on the list. Like I respect that guy heavily.
I'd love to have like just play a bit of football with him. I'd love to do that.
I don't know if I'd be able to kick a ball anymore. It's been years since I last kicked a ball. I might fall over. I'd love to meet Diego Forlan as well. You know, he's a tennis player nowadays. He plays like semi-pro tennis, but that'd be cool because that's my guy for the Jabulani in South Africa.
Oh my god, yeah.
We've got to do like World Cup podcast.
Yes, yeah, definitely. But yeah, we'll have to do some like random content around that as well. We need to talk to Jabulani. We need to do ranking footballs at some point. Need to go through that.
Qualified to do like that. I do remember. You remember, like I remember growing up in like the 2014 and 2015 season and 2016, all these seasons. I remember the Premier League ball being a big thing. I can't remember what year it was. It might have been the year Sanchez joined or around then, where every league in the top 5 leagues had like the same ball, but it was like different color to represent the leagues. And I remember that being so cool when I was a kid and being like, oh, I got the Prem one and some guy came in with a Serie A one or whatever. And that being sick. And then now I just don't care. But I don't. Do kids nowadays care about the balls? Is it like a big thing? I don't really think I see anything about it.
I don't think so anymore. Because it really used to be. I think it's like boots. I remember, right? So I remember Predators coming out. And it was a huge thing. Everyone's like, oh my God, these boots are I don't know if you've heard this, but these boots have got these rubber bits on them. And when you hit it, like you can curve the ball. Like, you know, like Carlos, like you can curve the ball like that free kick, right, mate? Like you should see these. And then now everyone's like, oh yeah, Preds. Right. Like, it's so weird.
Yeah,
at the time, it was a massive thing. I think footballs are quite similar.
I do remember like the boots in school were a big thing. I remember like even when like I think there is still a big audience for stuff like boots, especially I'm sure like people that play like every day is probably like care a lot. But I remember like they'd be like, yeah, I just remember like Cristiano Ronaldo wear like a pink pair. They'd be like, oh my god, he's wear this, and then like everyone in school would be like trying to buy pink ones and stuff. And like I never had much money, so we didn't get like all the cool boots. So I was someone that particularly cared, but I just had the cheapest boots that worked. But I do remember like that was a whole thing, and like everyone. I've never wore expensive like decent boots when I play football basically. So I wouldn't even like know the difference, you know.
I had a pair of chrome. Let me see if I can bring these up. Chrome R9 Mercurial Vapors. They weren't, those of you that know exactly what I'm talking about right now, they weren't the ones with the lime green at the back. They were the ones with the white. Here we go. Hopefully I can bring this up. Can I bring this up? Let's see if this works. And so my grandparents, bless their souls, God rest their souls, they got me this for a Christmas. And it was the most unbelievable present because they're so expensive. And there's a big thing about them being lighter than sprinting spikes. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, they're so light. So I got these boots and I thought, brilliant, I'm going to wear them. They killed my feet because the heels on them didn't even come up to your heel. They kind of just came, I don't know.
Yeah,
they're like so low. And I was gutted because I was like, I really want to wear them all the time. Here they are. Can we see them? These bad boys. Like that's what I had. And And do you know what? I sold them a couple of years ago because I still had them. And I sold them for like 300 quid. Someone was like, oh yeah, I want to get them. And I thought, that's mad that you're buying second-hand boots that are like, decades old.
Must be a collector's thing.
Yeah.
Surely. Must be.
Yeah, it's got to be.
I remember like there was so much controversy in school where like because you weren't allowed to have proper studs because like people would literally try and break people's legs and with like and it was just like crazy. So and there was just a whole thing about it all the time about if you could like wear studs or wear like the smaller ones. I can't remember what they're called, but like and it was just just a whole thing. And I just didn't like the thing is I remember like my love for football. I never really. I mean, I just didn't have a lot of money, I guess, so I didn't really care, to be fair. But like, I just never really like. I just got on with things. I just did things that like it didn't matter what I was wearing. I just was like, oh, we'll get on with it. We'll just continue it. Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
And I just never was like, I'm not a very materialistic person though. So I guess that's kind of just my personality, really. So it makes sense.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it? Yeah, boots. Like I went through, I mean, I had so many because I played a lot of indoor football as well. A lot of our training was indoors. So I played a good, probably 8-9 hours a week indoor every week. So I had a lot of AstroTurf boots because you didn't wear indoor boots. You wore AstroTurfs. I don't know why that was a thing. But there we go.
Yeah, I think we.
So I had Puma Kings. Puma Kings were massive. Now they're like not around. But I had like red Puma Kings. I had yellow Puma Kings. I had blue Puma Kings. I had like these chrome boots. I had champagne gold and pearl Predators. I had white accelerators that were Del Piero's. And then when I got older, and I stopped playing for a little while. And I then came back to play, and all of my boots were blacked out, completely blacked out. I had Night Legends, and I'd black out the ticks. I'd get leather dye and then black them out completely. It was just so funny that I just went kind of, complete 180 as I got older, and I was like, nope.
I've always been wearing just blacked out stuff. Even now, everything I wear is blacked out. Even like football, I used to always wear just blacked out boots, if whatever. Just like, I think of Mikel Arteta. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, man.
I used to like, I used to always play football without shoes on though, because you go to a nicely like cut like park and then you or whatever and like you play like I didn't play like that much at like Sunday league or whatever because I just didn't care. I remember I played for like one season and everyone was kicking each other and I was like, nah, that's long. So I didn't bother. But I remember even at school everyone used to take their shoes off when we used to play and it'd just be so much better. So I never really even like wore shoes and stuff like I don't know. I think it's interesting. Apparently some guy on a but it's not cut this off. But some guy on a podcast in Barcelona has said Julian Alvarez will play for Barcelona. Well, fair enough. Seems like that's concrete. That's fair enough. So dreams over. Let's go and get.
We'll see him. We'll see him at the Emirates.
Yeah, we will in a couple of weeks' time.
Yeah. And we'll have Havertz up front for us.
You always go have Havertz dunking on him.
Before we finish up about the boot talk, because there was a pair of boots I was given when I signed to a club. They were most hideous boots as well, which really makes me laugh. They were if anyone can tell me in the chat, they were Italian football boots, and they were green and white striped, and they were the softest leather I ever because the Daily Depot put in Puma Kings, most comfortable boots ever, softest leather. These things were like, when you see something, you go, oh my God, that's a work of art. Like someone has taken their time to make them, but they were hideous to look at. So I don't know what they're called though. So if anyone in the chat can tell me, I had those. And have you ever seen Kelme boots?
I don't think so.
Oh, like I had a pair of Kelmes that had like long tongues, like a Predator as well, all in white, and they were ridiculously comfortable as well. Mizuno's as well. I had the Rivaldo pair; they were nice.
Are we gonna get like AI boots? Do you think just like AI
boots?
Yeah, like AI designs, AI boots. It's gonna happen. These companies.
Do you reckon? Well,
maybe, but like I do think Nike and Adidas specifically are very I'd say they're very serious about designing stuff that they care about. It's so funny when it's like like with Adidas, and it's like, oh, Arsenal, let's make all their kits really nice. So you get lower down the pecking order, and then like, do you remember when was it Puma who did that? Like in the was it the Euros or the last World Cup where they basically just was like, oh yeah, we can't be bothered. I don't know. So every kit is the same. And then they did it in club teams as well. Like Dortmund had one, Man City had one. I think like they were like, yeah, the third kit's going to be the same design because we can't be bothered. And it's awful. And I was like,
I wish they wouldn't do that.
There's so many people that can design kits. Like there's so many people just do them for free that like, you know, you could just pay a bit of money to, and they'll be like, yeah, sure. Like I'm sure. I don't know, man. Like that's just how it's gonna be. I think.
Mate, I found out what these boots are called. Pantofola Dioro. But I cannot find the ones I had. They've got some. They're like an Italian flag. Shall I try and bring it up? Let's see if I can share this a minute. Anyone in the chat knows Pantofola? These things. Here we go. Is this opening? Oh, these bad boys were a work of art. Like even the tongue was like a ridiculously soft leather. But imagine these, right? Though, but every single one of these lines was alternating. So the main boot was green, and it was green and white because the team I played for was in green and white stripes. It was like hideous, but some of the nicest boots. So if anyone needs to get a really nice pair of boots, you want something a bit different, not like some Nikes, not some Adidas. There we go. Search up some Pantofola Dioro. There we go. Top tips of the night. Look at us. We're like a fountain of knowledge, giving out everyone fashion advice as well. What time is it? It's gone midnight, mate. Look at us. We're still up.
I've been up.
We're early birds these days.
Yeah, I've been up 6 a.m. It's crazy.
That is nuts. That is nuts. Let's finish up. We got Richard Andrews. Hope you're well, Richard. I don't think we've seen Richard in the chat before. If not, welcome, mate. I've seen the good times with Arsenal. Anfield, 1989, Michael Thomas winning goal in the last kick of the game. And I hope our younger fans get a chance to see Arsenal win something. Me too. Oh, gosh, I can only imagine seeing that. I was 2 years old when that happened. So I missed that one.
Yeah, well,
remember.
You got to see the Invincibles. That's not even me, but I have seen us win like 4 FA Cups, and that's it. That's all I've seen.
What is your favourite moment then?
What was my favourite moment? To be honest, it's probably like more recent than ever. I genuinely think thrashing Real Madrid last year is up there for like one of the like one of my like. It's just one of the I do think in terms of when I look back at, especially recently, because I don't know if I like as a kid I can remember too much. The FA Cups meant a lot to me. I watched a few of them with my dad. That was cool. I like the Villa one. We thrashed them. That was sick. And Sanchez's goal was cool. But like in hindsight, I'm like, I don't know. Maybe that's just because I'm older now and I'm like, FA Cup isn't enough. My expectations have gone up. But beating Real Madrid, I know it didn't amount to anything last year, but that genuinely was like just a big moment. It was a big moment as well for my career. Like I did some good videos on it, but I just was like so happy that both legs were great. I actually rekindled with friends that I hadn't spoke to in 5 years because of that game, and then went out and had like a drink with them, and now like they're my friends again. And it's like just stuff like that happened because of that game, and like that game just meant so much to me. So you know, and that will be beaten by the Champions League final in a couple of weeks.
I love it. Yes, mate. Like it's funny because Real Madrid is one of my favorite moments ever. But the one where we originally went to the Bernabeu with Thierry Henry, you know, you must know the video of him going into the corner, putting his foot in the ball, and they're like, yeah. Like, I love that. Like, I wish we had someone just with that arrogance, like, yeah, I am that good. I'm going to the Bernabeu.
If we get, I know we said this last year, but we're doing it again. If we get to the Champions League final, I'm actually just like, the Champions League final is a day before my birthday. I'm actually just not going to survive. Actually, it might be 2 days before my birthday. It's on the weekend, but my birthday's on the Monday, and it's on the weekend before. I'm actually not going to survive. I'm going to be so stressed. I get so stressed watching Arsenal anyway. That is like infinite stress. That is like, I don't know. I don't even know. Like, the biggest stress I probably had from that is the Euros England final. That is probably like the first one against Italy. Against Spain, I was like, oh, whatever. But we didn't deserve to be there. But against Italy, I was like so nervous. I never even experienced anything like that in my life. Like the FA Cup, sure, but it's like another
It's
level.
mad because, like, I've only just realised you never experienced like the United hatred and rivalry. Like, I would love it. I don't think we'll ever get it again. I think football's almost, because everyone's so nice. Maybe we need more of that. Something needs to happen. But like, it was just all out war. Like that stress, when you talk about that stress, God, every time playing United, oh, that's probably taken years off my life. Like, Richard, welcome, mate. Like, honestly, I'm glad you've come here. I hope you come back as well. We're here every Friday, mate. But I bet he knows exactly what I mean. The stress, like the excitement around it of being, yes, we have got them. Like, we are going to take points of them, because I always went into it confident. Didn't matter what was going on. We had a team where I knew, like, yeah, they could beat us, but we can beat them. It was always a good game. But the stress of it, man. And United fans were everywhere as well. So it's like that thing of, you can't escape it. It was just constant. Like, I can't even begin to describe that kind of, it was mad. Because it was constant as well in the media and stuff.
Yeah.
That's all you would hear. That's it. And even at the beginning of the season, they'd be ramping it up. You'd be like, we're not playing them until November. Yeah, the game's in November. It's coming.
I do find it like, it'd be cool if United and Arsenal were the two biggest teams again. Like, I feel like, because it would just be like that. I feel like crazy. I don't know. It's so weird because I have so many memories of like United just being uber dominant in high school. In school, I was not in high school. I was in like primary or whatever, and people just being like so annoying about it. And there's so many like glory fans of United. I remember like vividly as well. Aguero. I literally remember that, like, I was watching the Sky. We had at some point years ago, they put the Sky, you know, when they do like the goals on Sky Sports but not the games, they put that on like free TV on a Sky box if you had a Sky box. So that was the only thing I could watch ever when I was a kid. I remember I watched that like once or a couple of times, and they had the last day of the season on there, and when Man City won the league, and I remember like when Aguero scored, and I remember watching that on there and just be like running around the room because I was just gassed that United didn't win the league. and it's so funny because nowadays I'm like, why do people hate us? It's like, I kind of get it, but I also was like 11 years old, so it's like whatever. But I'm like, I don't know, yeah. But then when I think about it, Man United haven't won like a trophy, like a Premier League since, and it's like I was like a child, and it's like, yes, a lot has happened since then. It's kind of crazy to think. I was like half my age. Like, I don't know, it's a long time.
It is funny that I guess the biggest rivalry we could possibly have in the Premier League would be United Liverpool in terms of like going for a title, but we've never really had that. Like, not that I can remember. Their peaks have always passed each other.
Yeah,
it's really strange. Like, I guess that would be the one that would kind of.
I mean, even with City.
Richard, thank you for liking and subscribing, mate. I really appreciate that. Like, it really does mean a lot. Cheers, mate.
It's like with like even City now. Like, I think we all look at City as this club and like they're a rival. I remember like 5 years ago, before I started YouTube, when I was in college or uni or whatever, I didn't see City as a rival. Some of my Arsenal friends had City shirts. Like, we just didn't care. Like it, because we were crap and they were good, and then when we were good, they were crap. Like, so it's never been like, until the last 3-4 years, we've never really had anything with Man City. Until
I can remember one of my mates supporting them when I was in primary school and they got relegated. And I can remember everyone being like, oh, mate, that must suck. But none of us, like, we were all so young that I don't think anyone really understood how bad that must be like for his family. like his dad must have been in pain, and it's crazy now to think they're like a nation state, and they're yeah.
It's like the same with anything. Like Tom Hiddleston said perfectly, I thought, on the Sky the other day. But it's a privilege to be where we are. So that's why, even though we could look at stuff very negatively, there's 5 games left and potentially 2 in the Champions League to make it a third, to make history. You know, we can still win a double. We still win it. Like these things that aren't that far away. They just need to go out there and perform. And the players are back. They should be fit. They've had time off. I don't know, like, you know, we go out there and win it. You know, this is even slate. Let's do it. And I'm excited for the next couple of weeks where I'm going to be paid. This is going to be straight pain, and then it's going to go into the World Cup, which is going to be straight pain. Actually, I will love the World Cup. I genuinely will. But England will be paid, and then it's scary. And then it goes into transfers, which will be paid, and then it goes to next season. And oh my god!
Oh, especially over the transfer season over the World Cup just drags. We will be here doing content about it.
I think it will be like genuinely. I think the transfer content, like I genuinely think transfers will start blowing up in the next. They already are, but I think they will in the next couple of weeks because people want to get things done before the before the World Cup starts. So it's going to be insane.
Last question of the night, guys, and it's a doozy. Serious question. Is Anna Hathaway a Glory Hunter fan? I mean, I don't know if she could be a Glory Hunter fan because she supports Arsenal, right? Yeah.
I know what he's referencing, I think.
What is this?
Well, have you seen the Troops clip of him shouting after the Man City game? Well, he basically said that he basically had a go at a lot of new creators. He went at people that go to the games, because there was a lot of Arsenal fans that go to the games and record it now and make like cutesy little vlogs, I guess, out of it. And I think he was like, "Oh, well, where were you when we were bad and stuff?" And I've since the people talk about Anne Hathaway, be like, "Where was she when we were bad?" and stuff. Like, I do think there is arguments to be made, but I don't know why in football there's this whole thing about like, well, you're not a proper supporter, you don't go to the. It's like, why is it always a competition with anything? It's like when the same thing happens when you listen to music. Oh, I just started listening to like, you know, metal and stuff. It's like, right, you're not listening to hard enough metal. I don't care. You know, maybe I just don't care. I don't know. Maybe has that ever been a consideration? I just want to listen to cool music and things I care about. Like, I think. I don't know. I think sometimes with some of the things of like, oh, what, like people could say that about me, like, oh, why did you start making content in 23, 24? Well, maybe because I was at university getting a degree and I was 21 years old. Like, I don't know. I was in a situation where I wasn't I didn't think about making content. I didn't make content in that.
I didn't expect this question to get ranting Reese on, but I am so pleased.
It's just like I actually, the things that he said, I'm like, I don't actively like think he's wrong in some ways. Like, I get it, I understand his frustrations, and he also said it when he was annoyed about the Arsenal game. Don't know why when Arsenal lose, people, and this is another thing, people are having people this week have been. I felt it, and I get little amount because I'm a tactics guy. I don't necessarily put myself out there too much. I'm not a guy that's on these TV shows. I'm not on these podcasts saying stuff that gets, you know, these viral clips. So I'm not getting the hate. But the amount of hate that content creators in the Arsenal sphere have been getting this week has been crazy. Arsenal content creators are not the reason why Arsenal can't win a game. I don't know why when people get so annoyed, they can't direct their anger at things. It's like people...
It's because people don't know where to direct it. Do you know what? Come full circle, this pod, doesn't it? Because they don't know where to direct it.
I mean, I guess, yeah, but like, I don't know, man. Like, I'm 24, and like when I was like 18 years old, I kind of knew that like you can't just be going around like being a prick to people because you're like annoyed. Like, at the end of the day, I get the annoyances sometimes, and I get it and I understand. But like, at the end of the day, I decided to make content, especially about Arsenal, because I was sick of the way that we are portrayed in the media. I'm sick of the way that people talk about us. And a lot of that is these people that have been making content for such a long time. Not everyone, but that is a big reason, a part of it. And that's not, and it's not purely just on him or anyone else, but you know, I think that it was needed that there was some other people in the sphere, and it's not me. It doesn't have to be me, but people like Alex, people like James making his own thing, like even like Turkish becoming such a prominent figure in the Arsenal community in the last 3 or 4 years is important. We needed people that are all going to be different opinions, all going to be able to like have their conversation and speak and be like, and not just like say stuff for angry clicks. Like yeah, we can all do the old viral clip. Like James has got loads of like when we choose to Man City and it's funny. But like,
oh, that is a beaut.
that's gonna be
One.
there forever. But like when you watch him, you're like, yeah, it's incredible. Like you learn and that's the point of being like, surely being a part of this fan base at the end of the day. And I think that I could sit there and be like want more and want other creators. I'll be jealous of their success or want all this, but that's not the point of this. We are a community. We should all stick together. I'm not going to agree with some Arsenal creators that I don't like. Fair enough. Am I going to publicly come out and get angry about it when we've lost to Man City? No, who cares? Like, I know where to direct my anger, like not at them people. And we've all got to be like lifting each other up together and not putting each other down at the end of the day.
100%, mate.
And that's what I try for. So a little part about the content creation sphere, because it's
mate,
important.
that's such a positive note. Like, it genuinely is, because like, I think all the Sevens said earlier, about James and Sharoy, and have you guys seen them and stuff? Like, they have been nothing but just gents. They've been so lovely in helping me. Like, I had I had about a 2-hour phone call with James, just he was asking me about my webcam and how I sort it and how I do OBS and stuff. And I thought, you're really successful. You've done really well, and you're there asking me questions. I think that speaks volumes when you're not too proud to kind of put yourself on a pedestal and be like, oh yeah, I'm at this level. Like Alex and Rohan over at TDK Plus, and George, to be fair, but Alex and Rohan originally were in the Different Knock live. If you guys haven't seen the Different Knock, go watch the Different Knock. It is amazing, that channel. And they would do live shows every Thursday, similar to this, and they would have phone-ins. And I did a phone-in, and Alex was the one who said, you need to go and do your channel, make a channel. And I thought, I didn't expect that at all, because it's not one of those things. But like, for him to be like, no, we want more creators, we want more voices, we want more people to be heard that are going to be a little bit level-headed and have different, different ways of putting things across, different opinions. And from there, I'm now doing their thumbnails for all the channel on TDK Plus and stuff. It's really important that there's less divide within the club and there's more unity. And whether, everyone deserves a voice to be heard, whether it's us saying it or whether it's you guys in a chat, like, it is so important, because I think sometimes it's good to have that other point of view. I try to do it on here sometimes, give that devil's advocate thing where I'll go, are you sure we shouldn't start at Gyökeres? Or that... I think sometimes, people just want to point the finger outwards rather than internally. But like we say, we've got 5 more games to go. We've got to get behind the team now, because we're still in it. As much as everyone was probably down in the dumps after Bournemouth, and even further, and felt a bit of apathy maybe after City, it's time to put up or shut up. Like, there is no point of people doing Arteta out. There's no point of people pointing the finger at the players. Like you think the players don't want to win the league?
Yeah.
Like, of course they do. Like, come on. But they look shattered. So it's time. It's time. We've got to do it. And we all want what's best for the club at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think people just lose this sight sometimes. And I don't know if it was ever like this before I started making content, but I see it so much more now. And it's like, I don't know, the way that people treat people within this like community is crazy. Like, I think the disrespect is insane, and it's not just Arsenal; it's obviously just football in general. But
yeah,
I don't know. Like, I just think everyone just needs to be nicer to people, and what happens, we'll see. We all get things wrong. We all. There's a lot of people that aren't willing to admit they get things wrong, and it's frustrating. I'm sure we're all a little bit stubborn in that way, but I don't know, like, it's just about learning and stuff, and we can all learn and we can all improve, and same with Arsenal and Arteta, and that's the thing. And yeah, I don't know.
It's not about the trophies. It's about the friends we make along the way.
Well, I don't know if I'd go that far, but
oh, Richard, you are so right. It's down to the PTSD after 3 years of getting so close. Yeah, and on top of that, a lot of us have, been there through the years of Wenger, where we've seen him as an absolute elite coach, and then he's not backed, and then we move to the Emirates, and it's, it just wasn't the same. And we've had over 20 years now of waiting and being patient. I don't think people realise how patient Arsenal fans have been on the whole. But unfortunately, it's the few with the loudest voices that sometimes are heard.
That's why I think like it is very different, because I feel like my willingness to allow things to be, I'm like very not patient. Like I can't I play a video game, like there's a cut scene, I'm skipping that, like it's so long.
So conclusion is, Anne Hathaway is really important for us. Yes, all the sevens. What have you done, all the sevens? You turn this into suddenly me and, you almost broke Reese. Wackles, you almost lost his plot. And then it turned into us becoming some kind of philosophical...
Well, I just remember like that video, but I do say like I do have probably more patience than most people, and most people my age probably do because like in watching
maybe
football,
not this podcast though.
No, maybe not this podcast, but in terms of like giving Arteta time, because like this is the best Arsenal team I've ever seen. I've grown up with Arsenal just being mid, like we've been fine, I guess.
Yeah.
Like we were the fourth best team in the country. Yeah, everyone used to meme at us coming fourth, and now we're coming second. Everyone's memeing at us. Well, that is progression. I take it. And now
I've just thought of a player.
Oh, no.
Suddenly, I thought of a player.
I mean, I liked Koscielny.
Kieran Tierney. Loved Katie.
Well, yeah, but there's not like I guess, yeah. But he was here last year. My dad loves Kieran Tierney as well, and I was like, well, Kieran Tierney was a good player, but like, yeah, I don't know.
Well, I just loved him. Well played. Guys, if you haven't done so, please make sure you like and subscribe. Hit the hype button as well. I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what it does, but hit it. Why not? I need to start looking for this. I'm going to do that on your channel the next time you're on, Reese. Mate, where can everyone find you? Where can they find you gaming as well?
Well, I go on Wackles Football, and then I've on my, I think if you scroll down on my page, I've put all my channels there, all 4 million of them. So whenever I want to do that. But the gaming channel, I've been doing a lot of work on. I've been making a lot of videos. Probably not the audience here for it, but that's fine. But yeah, if you want to ever just do work, or you're just chilling and you want to put a video on in the background, they're long videos, like an hour. They're just calm. They're just chill videos.
That's a good shout. The next time I'm doing some work, I'm going to do that, mate. And if you haven't done so, obviously hit that subscribe button. I'm on here doing, instant reactions, doing my previews. I did a tactical video as well. I don't know if you heard that, Reese. And obviously we are here every Friday from about 7:30 onwards. Depends if Reese is awake. Depends if I'm organised enough. And you can catch me on Folder on Footy on Instagram and X, or Twitter for your older folk like me. Guys, hope you are all well. Bring on the Newcastle game. Take care. And we will see you next week. Cheers, guys.